Welcome, welcome, welcome to Liberal 12th Man Show. I'm the Liberal 12th Man, just like you. And we are here joined by the Irishman and Lee. How you doing, Irishman?
Very well, very well. How are you?
Good, good, good. Lee, how are you doing today?
Good, yeah. Excellent.
Good, good. As you can see, the excitement and the adrenaline is just radiating off the screen right now. So um, we definitely want to get into this. This should be a fun episode because I know there's a lot of, I want to say concern, but there's been a lot of speculation as to what actually is going on with Liverpool and the transfer window. I know that we have a bunch of things or players that we would all like to see possibly be a part of this club. I know that one of the best things we can say, though, is that the Euros have certainly provided, and if not even Copa as well, certainly providing us a little bit of further dissection of these players. Because a lot of these players play in leagues that we probably do not really watch. So often the good opportunity that we do get to really get into these players in that, like by evaluating their talents, is through international play. And I will be honest. I get it. People are going to go, oh well, international play is different than club play, and blah blah blah. It's still football. Let's just break it down to that concept. Like, this is a basic concept of can they play football? You know. So despite the differences between club and international, we're going to overlook that major portion of it and just go on by trying to get some righteous evaluation, I guess you could call it.
Well, that is one quickly that just I'm not going to say it annoys me, but the whole never buy a player off the back of a good tournament thing does get obviously like if some guy has never been good and he has a good tournament, that doesn't mean he's but sometimes like a really brilliant player who was really good for previous two seasons can have an excellent World Cup, and you say like, oh, you're interested in it, and people automatically, oh, you can't buy a player because he has a good World Cup.
Right.
Sometimes a good player can also have a good World Cup or a good Euros. They can do both. So it is a bit of a
Yeah.
lazy one sometimes, to just kind of so
Yeah.
you can say they've had a good tournament, not say, oh, let's buy him because he was good against Ukraine in a quarterfinal or something. But
Right. Right.
he's,
Right.
yeah, the two can go hand in hand.
Right. Because I mean, it's like you don't. It's
Can you
pretty funny because
excuse
you.
me for a
Go ahead,
minute?
Arthur.
Excuse me for a minute while you place
Yeah,
me right hand contact because it's that that's
Yeah.
causing
No
me the
worries.
problem.
yeah,
Right,
no
when
worries. Like,
I'll get it, I'll be fine. Like in a minute. Just give us a minute
Okay.
to replace it.
Okay. Nope. Nope. No, take your time.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is, yeah, you're spot on with that. Like, as in, a player can have an actual good tournament, and you can acknowledge that. It doesn't mean that because that player had a good tournament that we're all in on this player. But I
yeah,
mean, you can assess a player and say, can he play? Period. By just seeing him play in games against obviously some of the superior talent in the world. You know, if there's very few times you can hide your talents in international tournaments. That much you can say because chances are you are the best players from those countries being represented. So quite often you have an ensemble of a lot of great talent. I mean, like, you know, um, what you do with that talent is, neither here nor there. I mean, England England can attest to that. But
well,
yeah,
that's one
it's
thing I was going to say as well. Is
yeah,
sometimes because people do the opposite, won't they? Sometimes some people will do the opposite. Um, a guy will have had a shocking World Cup. If it's a player they want to buy, he could have been like monumental, but oh no, but that was only that's not his fault. That's not this, that's not that. But if you bring someone up there like yeah, but he plays for this team, he plays for that team. It seems to be that people seem to be very reluctant to give players credit. You
yes,
know,
yeah,
just outside
absolutely,
of the tournament confines.
yep, yep, yep. There's definitely. And as I said to Daryl, we're definitely going to be getting into some of these players that, especially Gordon. We're going to get into that topic as well, despite the fact that he's not being featured in this tournament as of yet, but he is certainly a player that has piqued conversation as of the last couple of days as well. But
I think he's got about half an hour maybe
yeah,
the whole tournament, and he's got 10 minutes, and then he got another 20 minutes somewhere or something like that. And that's about what he's got.
Yeah. Big up Hyler, by the way. If you haven't been able to catch the that was Brian saying hello, by the way. I wasn't trying to cut over. If you haven't been able to catch some of the Copa, I am doing I know it's gonna be late, so I might be solo. So yeah, any bit of company is always welcome, because I'm gonna be hey Philip, by the way, and hey Norm. We're going to be doing a watch along for the game today. It's going to be a very big and important game as well for USA. That's why I got the USA colors on today. Hopefully they don't bleed and we get a result, but it's going to be a very difficult one. So optimistically looking forward to that one. But yeah, we have Uruguay versus U.S. men's national team coming up later on today. But back to the matter at hand, we had 11 players that were going to be represented for us. Let's just start off by saying it that way. In these Euros, whether it was Roger Van Dijk, whether it was Gravenberch, whether it was Cody, whether it was Diego, whether it was Ibu, whether it was Dominic, whether it was Robbo. And then we had also some players on the England squad, obviously, some that didn't get called up, but some that were on the verge of being called up, and some that were called up. As in, so Trent and Joey, we all know, are on the squad. I think Kwanzaa is going to possibly play in the next matchup. I think there's some people are telling me rumors that he might start at left back, which is like mad. That's just crazy to think of.
You might have heard them saying Konza. They're saying Konza might start left back.
Okay, Konza different.
Well,
story.
Mark Gahey is suspended. You see,
right? Okay.
So they have to do something that way. Gahey can't. So Konza could come in, and or Gomez could do whatever. Walker could move. I don't know. Yeah, he's going to have some jigging around to do there.
I'd like to see perhaps a 3-5-2.
He could do that, Lee. He could do that.
With Saka at left wing back, Trent at right wing back, Tony and Kane up front. Because I think that might unruffle Switzerland, maybe going with two. Because Kane drops deep sometimes anyway. You can do that if Tony was the spearhead. And then
Kane spends more time in your half than he does anywhere else. He's turned dropping deep into an art form that he showed his heat map from the other night. The guy is basically playing
in that formation in a 3-5-2.
You'd hope so.
Behind them, and then
Mainu and stay up there.
Rice. Mainu and Rice is a solid 2 with Trent and Saka flanking them. We could have 3 centre halves. Gomez could play. Joe can play left or right of a 3, or in the centre. I don't know if he'll play, but I'd like him to. I don't see that he'd do any worse than bloody Conser or Branthwaite was. And Joe has already represented England, so I'd like to see Joe. But I'm probably just wishing it like more than anything.
Okay.
He used to play 3 at the back a lot. Well, you never know. But hi Bernie, hi MK Toe, hi
what's up,
and a few more other people.
Yep.
Southgate was used to playing in Southgate was the middle of a 3, wasn't he, with Tony Adams? Yeah. And, it was the other one for Euro 96. Adams, and I think Pierce was used, wasn't he? Yeah, Pierce was used as a left centre half in Euro 96, I think. Maybe. I think he was. Adams.
120 minutes of pure torture. Yes, if you are an England fan, it was not an easy. Watch. You're on pins and needles. I know. saved by a bicycle kick. So yeah. Oh, you guys are getting and you guys are getting rain over there, huh, in Ireland? That's cool. We got a. You'll be surprised to hear this, but we got a bit of not a bit, we got a lot. We get these sessions of like little monsoons when we do get rain normally here in the desert, and last night was one of those sessions where it was just downpour, nothing, downpour, nothing, downpour, nothing. You know, it's weird. So
I've got to say, I do love a good downpour and a deluge, you know, as long as you're safely locked away inside and you're nowhere near getting caught in it. I love to look out the window sometimes and just see it hammering down, like absolutely bucketing down, and just watching it collecting. And that. I think everyone does a bit of that, don't they?
I had to drive through that. I had to drive through it. That's why I could tell you it was downpour off, downpour off. Yeah, so
yeah, it's like those shows. Yeah, the shows with freak weather. If you're going to watch your telly to see them, then you'd look out the window as well to see it, wouldn't you? Like if it's raining so hard, or it's like icy and like giant hailstones.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no. Yeah, true. And as MK Toe says, but it does make sleeping that much easier. I do like to sleep through the rain and thunderstorms and stuff like that. So, for some reason, very soothing. But
it's a big thing on YouTube is those rain channels that you fall asleep to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just people falling asleep to the sound of the rain. Oh, there's like loads of them.
They're like 8-hour segments. They're like, think about
background noise and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
I'm going to look for that because I have trouble sleeping sometimes.
There's loads of them. They even have old-timey music, or you can have like a little bit of noise in background, or just the rain.
Or maybe do what a lot of people. Lee, I would suggest maybe doing what a lot of people do is just, put the England game on and there you go.
Yeah, put a video of Mourinho's Chelsea or Mourinho's United on, and that'll put you to sleep over it.
Oh man, it's all love. It's all love. It's all banter and love. It's all love.
Those poor fans.
Oh man, but back to the matter at hand again. So what we did was there's been a lot of other players though that have been on the radar for Liverpool. I broke it down to groups. I know we're past group stages, but it just made it a little bit easier just to do because we are basically all like taking the evaluations from their group play. So I did break it down by group as to players that we have been linked to in the actual journals, or players that interest this are somewhat that much of an interest for us in general. And we would start with Group A. Okay, so I'm gonna start with Group A as these are linked in. These are some links, whether loose or not, to Liverpool right now. And most notably, the biggest link I would say in Group A has been, without a doubt, Jamal Musiala. Musiala is certainly the star transfer target, I would say, for us. Completely would be a quality get. It's not going to be an inexpensive get, okay? But obviously Musiala's made a bunch of appearances. I don't really watch too much Bundesliga, but he's made 150 appearances for Bayern Munich. He's only 21 years old. He is a very talented cam. He could be a striker if necessary. He has a lot of incredible talent, to say the least. The other two that I would put him in comparison to that aren't on Group A and are on Germany have been Florian Wirtz and a name that you might not have heard too much about, but because of the situation at Bayern Munich, Leroy Sané has become a name that has been loosely linked because of the possible departure of Mohamed Salah. Now I'm going to ask the chat and I'm going to ask the panel. I'll go first to the Irishman and then I'll go to Lee. When you hear those three names, if you had to rank them, what would be your priority in those three names in your priority list. And from those three, what are your assessments of those players, Irishman?
Well, I'd say I'd go with easier to go with the bottom ones. So it'd be Sane would be I'd be the least interested in taking. I think potentially just he's not old. I know he's not old, but I don't know. Yeah, he's gone off the boil a bit, and he was lethal on his day. I kind of it's been a long time. Like he's like you said, there's been issues there, and he's not playing all the time. He doesn't get a game for Germany really. Yeah, almost not forgotten about the boy, but kind of half forgotten about. Yes, he's 28. You know, he's not finished,
Yeah,
but he's
no doubt. No doubt. He
he's
is
up there.
28.
Like,
That is
like
not
with,
necessarily
yeah,
the range
like with
that
Coleman,
Liverpool, especially Edwards, likes to go for. But
yeah,
he is a
like with
name that
Coleman,
has been out. Right.
yeah, like with Coleman, we were saying last night that at that age, that's kind of where the interest would end because you're talking about giving someone a 4-year deal typically, and we're not giving guys deals into their 30s on big signing money. So you're coming in as a big signing, you're going to be on your 300K a week, whatever it is for your big signing guy. You want him on that until he's 27, not 32. So I kind of that one definitely not. Then the other two, I get out just really world class talents. I think whoever gets them, if was like I think Wirtz is probably almost guaranteed to leave next season, all being well with him. Musiala could easily stay at Bayern, take a big huge bid. Yeah, my heart has been swayed a little bit towards Musiala more, but Florian Wirtz is someone I wanted us to. I was hoping we could get him before he did that big injury. That's about 2.5 years ago now, nearly 3 years ago, and he was out for a year then, and then he came back and he sort of really only this previous season he's really hit his peak again. So I'd love to. Yeah, but a player like Musiala is a dribbling machine. Like that is the kind of guy. Like you think Doku is entertaining, this guy is pure entertainment. So that's what you like to see sometimes. But Wirtz as well. If you pop Wirtz in any team, but I suppose right now maybe we could probably call Szoboszlai or Dominic Wirtz. We call him our Wirtz, and we don't really have a Musiala. So I'd go with Musiala then at the top. But I'd be barely splitting hairs to pick who's a better player between Musiala and Florian Wirtz. But if I was bringing in the one for us, just because of the players we already have, I'd go with Musiala. Just pure flair and class, all that good stuff. The stuff you like to watch.
Okay. How about for you, Lee?
Yeah, I agree. Sane, maybe when he was 24, but not now at 28 on a large contract. I think that's a bit old to be signing a forward. No, you can sign forwards older than that, but it doesn't seem to be our model, and it's rare that many clubs sign forwards over 27, 28, you know what I mean? Around that age, people tend not to. Don't. What I mean by sign them is like, bring them in for a lot of money at that age, like on a big deal.
I wouldn't mind a number 9 at that age, a winger like him, but a number 9. Like if you said at 28 you would have signed Lewandowski, Kane, but would you sign a quick winger?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't sign players at that age. I'm just saying FSG probably wouldn't.
Oh, exactly, they wouldn't.
Right,
If it's up to me, I wouldn't give a sinker's cut. I think United bought Sheringham when he was like 32.
Oh, exactly.
Brilliant.
That's what I'm saying as well. When I say it, it's that when I say we, I mean FSG won't sign a guy.
Yeah.
28. Yeah, I'd be the same as you, man. If Ronaldinho was 28, I'm not going to say, oh well, he's 28. Sign the boy, get him. I don't care if he's 28.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just trying to keep it grounded, isn't it? Like players that we might actually sign rather than we wish we got. It's okay mentioning. Okay, we've got to mention all the names and that. But for the new forwards, I'm thinking probably more someone around the 23, 25 age, somewhere between 23 and 25 for the new forwards.
Okay.
It's a good age to buy, isn't it? I
See,
think
that's
Mo
interesting. There's a name I didn't put in there, for instance, and I'm
is
hearing what you're saying.
24.
Like, as in, so would you do it for Kimmich, for instance? Joshua Kimmich is a
Why?
name that's
Yeah,
out there
yeah,
circulating.
defo,
He's
because he's got
29.
the experience at international level as well as like Bayern level, and like he's played in massive games over and over and over again. It's just how hungry would he be coming here? Would it be like a dot for him or something? Would he give it his all? I don't know. Does he really want to come here?
Oh, well, don't forget, lads, it's a step down. Apparently, we were told
Yes.
last night Bayern to Liverpool is a step down. Apparently, so
We're not starting. Big up, High Lord. Big up, High Lord. I was going to say, I only brought up Kimmich because Kimmich is a name that has been out there as to a player that is going to be leaving or wanting to leave Bayern Munich for new pastures. And he is a name that has, he is certainly a name that, could spike your interest, I would say, or spark your interest because he's a talented player, but it's very interesting. He's a year older than Sane, but you were kind of like you sounded a little bit more bullish on if Kimmich's name comes up, you would like go past that little, he's 28 or he's in your age.
By experience in his particular position, it'd be brilliant.
Midfielder.
Bring someone in that position who's massively experienced. I mean, he's the type of player who I reckon would settle in quickly as well. I think he'd settle in quickly if we had him.
I heard crazy talk about him going to United. Like with Kimmich, yeah, it's if it makes sense, I'd take the player, but I wouldn't do the deal.
Yeah.
But to me, he'd be like signing like when like Real Madrid when they wanted a player like Toni Kroos, they probably bought him around the same age. Kroos was maybe 20, maybe he was younger actually, but I could see Kimmich just doing for us what Kroos has been doing for Real for the last 3 years. Just been a world class holding midfielder. But I wouldn't bring him in. He's the kind of guy I'd love to have him in our squad, but yeah, we're not going to go out and put up the numbers for him. But it does look like there's trouble there. So if he wants to go to Man United,
I think there's certain uncertainty. I'll offer you to continue on. I was just saying, but there's certain uncertainty in Bayern. Look, they've got a new coach. Yeah. Obviously, the new coach is a young coach, proven coach on that at that level at least. For that size of a team or that step up of a team for certain for him. And there is uncertainty in the sense of they are basically just stockpiling talent. Again, whether it's through the center backs, I didn't include De Ligt in this because I haven't really seen much of us being connected to De Ligt, despite the fact that he is a center back and we are looking at one point we're looking for a center back, and then there was talks of center back and DM are not our priority. I don't know. If you listen to the journos, it's just depending on what time of the week it is that they're going to pick. I see Chris Angel. I know. I heard the Vader music come in. But what I was getting at is that I don't know if Daryl's talking about Kimmich. I think Kimmich is a talent, by the way.
He's talking about Coleman.
Oh, he's talking about Coleman. Oh, Kingsley Coleman. Yeah. We spoke on that yesterday. I know that I did have that as someone that was being possibly targeted, but again, he's a 28-year-old again. That talented player has played on great levels, whether it's with Bayern or with France, but I didn't put him in this list. If we're going to move, then let's stay with Germany, and I will bring up a name that I actually have his FB ref open too, just in case we need to reference it. In case you guys need stats or whatever for any player, just tell me and I'll bring up the stats for those players if you want to see or try to visualize some idea of some of the statistics that they bring to the fold. But there's a Nico Schlotterbeck who has been very, very what? Oh, I thought you were saying something, Irishman. But
Me, no,
Nico,
Lee.
Okay, I got you. Nico Schlotterbeck.
Before I forget about Kimmich, I get the impression that it's just them angling for a deal at Munich, and he will get it. It's just his agent angling for a deal, linking him with Liverpool and United. I don't think there'd be that much at the end of the day, and that he will be at Munich. That they'll give him a new contract, you know what I mean? When they'll give him it, I don't know. But this is just part of him angling for a new deal, and it like Highlaw said about what his situation is. He wants a new contract. They haven't given it, so we're getting this now, aren't we? Like that he's possibly linked it, and we'll hear him linked with like Juventus, and I don't know if we'll hear him linked with Real Madrid, but we'll hear him linked with Barca, I reckon. As next season, I'm afraid he'll start saying that probably, for this last season. But I think he'll sign a new contract soon enough. Kimmich,
I think the only way Kimmich signs a new contract is if he does that noble thing of signing a deal just so that Bayern Munich can really try to have a more solidified presence when it comes to the bargaining table, because he's only got 1 year left. This is his last year on his deal. He's pushing for a way out, basically. And he's as Highlaw has been saying or said earlier, he's refused to sign a new deal, which is basically you saying, thank you, but I want to go elsewhere,
Oh, yeah,
and either help me move on to a new team, or I'll wait till the end of the year and I'll just move by myself. You're going to say something? I didn't mean to interrupt.
I didn't know that they'd offered him a new one and he'd turned it down. I thought that's what he was after, just to be offered a contract. But you're saying Bayern have offered him something and he's turned it down.
Yes. Yeah, that's what Highlaw was had mentioned that earlier. I'll bring up this. It says, he says the deal with Kimmich is special. Bayern Munich have for a long time tried to make him sign a new contract, and he has refused. He has only 1 year left on his contract.
Do you know what? I misread that. I misread it as when I read it. I misread it as saying that he was after a new contract and Bayern hadn't offered him one yet. I thought, with a maid or something. So it's the other way round.
Yeah. Daryl even mentions the fact that they're going after Paulinho. So that's somewhat of their replacement for him.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Yeah. I mean, Kimmich is 29. Paulinho's about the same age.
Won a lot there.
Yeah. He's about the same age himself.
Maybe, Kimmich, he's played probably, an awful lot of games for them. He's won everything at least once. He's won multiple league titles. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, yeah, I'm 29 now. I definitely want to have a go somewhere else. But also, there will be a big consideration towards being 29 and this being your last big contract. Well, we say that now about it being your last big contract, but I say that in the pre-Saudi sense, because some of these guys who would be on their, say, last big contract up to the age of 33, some of those guys now can probably, in a few years' time, go somewhere like that and actually earn more money. Yeah. As long as they're fit and healthy as 33. But let's just say their last big contract in a top league, or in the old sense of the phrase. So
you'll still get a pretty pretty nickel back, or a pretty penny back, however you want to put it. You'll actually get some money back by those transfers to those Saudi teams. So I mean, they'll get their big wages. They'll get their big signing in Saudi Arabia of a big name. They'll get their definitely they'll offer a big contract to the player, but sometimes you'll get a Henderson or a Fabinho style contract, or transfer price back, which the team will more than are more unwilling to take as well. Yeah, bonkers. Jonathan Tah is definitely on. There's a lot of uncertainty going on in Bayern Munich. That's what I mean by Bayern Munich's a very interesting situation. They're in a state of flux in that, as Hylor mentioned earlier, he mentioned it yesterday. Bayern Munich hiring a Vincent Kompany have created some unrest in the organization and a big change, as he put it. But I would say,
but that was the thing I forgot. Sorry, yeah, Kompany.
Yes.
Yeah, companies. There's probably a couple of these guys going, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I haven't bought in. Yeah.
Oh, some of these guys are like, I was playing against him a few years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about him at all. Probably thinking, yeah, I've been at Bayern all my life, or I'm a Bayern guy.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen this company stuff before. I'll give him 8 months. He could be gone in 8 months easily. So some of these boys are like,
the Sane's in that list, though. I mean, that I had him as a possible player trying to make an exit. I mean, Sane is a player that did play with Kompany, actually.
Yeah, maybe they didn't get along.
I mean, I've seen some of the footage of them, like, on the training pitch together at Bayern.
Oh yeah, sure they're great. Yeah, no, sure it's great. But money talks, man.
Yeah. Well, I did mention Schlotterbeck. Look, Schlotterbeck is in the Bundesliga is 93rd percentile for tackles, 71st percentile for interceptions, 87th percentile for blocks. So for I said Bayern Munich, I meant Borussia Dortmund. Excuse me. For Borussia Dortmund, he's been very influential in their run for the Champions League final this year. He's been influential in just their performances in Germany in general. There is another player on this list in Group A, because I'm going to go through as many players as we can get through, and that is a wild card that I didn't really hear too much about. Brian mentioned that he has seen his performance throughout the Prem, but also, or not throughout, I should say, but he has recognized his play in the Prem, but also has recognized his play in this tournament. And that is Milos Kerkez. Plays with Hungary, a Bournemouth player. So obviously you have that connection, as well with our new administration. But do you have a lot of he's a left back, obviously.
Yeah.
We're possibly going to pursue, and I'll give it to you, Lee, in a second. Possibly going to pursue him. I know that we do have left backs, young academy left backs that are very, very promising in Owen Beck, Luke Chambers, another name out there that eventually will possibly get a run. Might not. So we still have Simicast in that left back role. He's a player that we all have said that probably would be one of the first that we choose to part ways with if we had to make some additions and subtractions. And then there's also Robbo, obviously getting a little older in the tooth, but all the same, I know we all love Robbo for what it's worth. But this Kerkez guy, what are your impressions on him? And guys, tell me in the chat too what you guys like about. You can talk about Schlotterbeck or you can talk about Kerkez, since those are two last players I have highlighted in Group A. Go ahead, Lee.
I think Kerkez is a very tidy left back. I've watched him quite a lot for Bournemouth, and I liked him pretty much instantly when I seen him for Bournemouth. I watched him quite a bit, and I've watched their highlights like all season, on Match of the Day, like you see. And he's a good player, and sort of like Anthony Robinson as well at left back. But Kerkez definitely, and as you say, with him being Hungarian, it'd be a Hungarian buzzy for Dom, which is always helpful. But I think he looks really good, Kerkez. I've been well impressed with him.
Okay. How about you, Brian?
Sorry, didn't realize I was muted.
I saw you on mute. Yeah, no worries. Sorry, I just saw
you. No, I didn't realize I was muted. Sorry. I was just going to say he might be one because people obviously go on out, Coco. Go on. If you could bring him up in FB Ref, because a lot of people might not know kind of,
Yeah, sure. I'll bring him up.
he might be a
Let
good one
me
because we all
get
know who
this.
the other lads are. But yeah, I only really, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure if he came in January or they brought him in last summer. But like,
It's
I
the
only really
summer.
kind of
It
remember
is
hearing
on
him.
season.
Okay, they took a while, but I only remember kind of hearing people talking about how good he was. Well, that was Bournemouth new manager. As Bournemouth got better, he got better. But it was kind of the second half of the season, and again, a lot of this is based on fantasy football that people are kind of pointing out how many chances he was creating, or this kind of stuff, how good he was in games. So that's when I first kind of took notice of him. And it can be a little bit, I know we give out about it, but as football fans, one of the things we like is shiny new toys. We get criticised a lot for always wanting a shiny new toy and preferring, the guy that doesn't play
Mhm.
for us yet to the guy that we have. But
Mm.
with people like that, like with the Simicast thing, I wouldn't mind a shiny new toy in the Simicast position. Sell
Yeah,
Simicast for 20 and bring in
Mhm.
some exciting, some new, yeah, a new type sim. It hasn't really 100% worked for Simi. Move one
well,
and bring in some newer type of guy. I'm all for that. Like, and he does look really attack minded, really impressive. Kind of like the Ait Nori thing. I was talking to some of the Wolves fan earlier on today. Don't ask me why, but he was just saying like what I was saying. The other, it's like, yeah, look, Ait Nori is class, but like that guy, he cannot defend. He
yeah, you
can't.
can't mate at all.
He's
Not
he's a
left
winger.
back or left back. He's a wing back, if
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
Dickheads can play like flat back four, left back and
yeah. This
off.
guy can defend as well. Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
get in that Hungary team without being a really rock solid system player as well that can stick to what he asks them to do because they got
yeah,
success out of that, but also have that quality to stand out in the Premier League. Which is what he was
Mhm.
starting to do. I think he might have a bit about him. I think he might have.
well, here's the thing: he could be bought as like Robbo's replacement. It's just like he doesn't replace him immediately. Brings him, replace him,
Well,
and
Bournemouth,
it's
right?
Bournemouth,
Pingy,
Robbo.
what's his name? Richard Hughes. Bournemouth, Richard Hughes, Liverpool. I mean, is it too easy? Is that too easy?
We got the
Maybe.
history of Solanke, and they were pleased with the Solanke deal because it's worked out for them. So let's hope they show us the same charitable attitude if we want Milos Kerkez, and they
I'm
don't
sure
like
Hughes was
hold.
involved in bringing him to Bournemouth, so
Mm,
obviously he'll know his whole profile. He'll know his whole,
mm,
his background. We won't have to scout him as such. Like Hughes would have done that at Bournemouth. So if he's good enough for us, he'll know whether he's good enough. So it won't
Mhm.
be a difficult one to evaluate. But yeah, I
no,
really
Mhm.
like the look of him. Those are good,
mm,
good stats. Those are good stats there. You know, a player with room
Yeah,
to
he didn't
improve.
have his. I will admit this though, his stats in the Premier League aren't eye popping when it comes to assists or obviously
No, no,
goals.
no, no,
Well,
no.
yes, yeah, but he does have some good numbers when it comes to the fundamental parts of it, where it comes to again like
mm.
blocks, clearances, those kinds of things, like as in
That's
those
all
types of
I liked
stats.
about him when I watched him. Yeah, he looked solid.
He
You know,
compared in here the similar players. I
he
was going to say
actually
the
looks.
similar players that they rate him against are basically um, let's see, Josh Doig, Coutinho, excuse me, for Burnley. Um, let's see, Jaden Bogle for Sheffield United. Maybe like Mikalenko for Everton. Some
Mm,
other names. Tyreek Mitchell for Crystal Palace.
Great player.
Uh, Nico Williams for Forest. Basically,
Yeah,
are the names that are used.
yeah,
Even the Brentford Denmark player from Brentford or was on Brentford actually as well. Mads Worslev as being the comparison fullbacks that they give.
mm-hmm.
Slotterback is still again, and I get that too. If you had to pick the two, if you had to pick between these two players, who would you prioritize? Would you prioritize Slotterback? I understand they play two different positions, but would you prioritize Schlotterbeck, or would you prioritize the left back that we just spoke on too, Kirkes?
Out of the two, would prioritise Kirkes and buy a different centre half than Schlotterbeck.
Okay. How about you, Irishman?
I'd probably go with the German at the moment, but I'd love to think that we could get a centre half and someone like him. Like, what's Kirkes going to cost realistically? It can't be that much.
That's a good question. I could get that. I'll get that for you. Let me get up. Let me pull up.
I'm gonna guess.
I'll get you the market value of these. These aren't obviously transfer market. You know how the transfer market is. They get it relatively conservative when it goes to the numbers that they say. His market value is 20 million euros currently.
I was going to say 25. That's cool.
Yeah, 20 million. That's euros too. So I mean, if we could get him for 15 million pounds, that's a good deal. I would do that, certainly. And that's a deal that you can make, and then you can evaluate your talent that you have, as opposed to that's not a deal that you have to sell someone to bring someone in. You know what I mean? There's a big difference.
Rightly, paid about 12 million for him, I think. If I remember rightly, I think that was roughly the fee they paid for him was about 12.
Oh, I didn't mean to bring down. I'm sorry. I closed the screen share by accident. I'll bring that back up. There is. Let's move on then to Group B. I showed you those were the stats. I showed you the stats for Kirkes. Back up one more time here before, because you can see again, and his shooting's okay, but more so it's the defensive numbers that really bring up a lot of praise. He's more of a defensive minded player, it seems like. But let's move on to Group B. And Group B has a few names that were interesting because Spain is in this group and also Italy. So those were the two primary countries that I know I saw a lot of teams interested in. And what I was going to say is the names that we have been tagged with, and understandably why, is the midfielder Martin Zubimendi. That's been an option floating around there.
Good player.
Another name that has been out there. I don't know how much we want to put into it. Omo is another name out there. Hopefully you can hear me. I see my.
You're going a bit crackly. Yeah. You're going to be glitchy, but
Olmo is whenever I have transfer market FBref. Yeah.
I'll close him down then. Close him down. Shut him down.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, we've been linked with Olmo.
I'm going to close down these actually.
Probably 2021, maybe. It's at least 3 years now. I've been hearing Dani Olmo.
Yeah.
A lot of links are kind of, you can always trace like the line through it. Say like Dani Olmo, brilliant player. So obviously big clubs are interested in him, but he was at Red Bull, German contacts with Klopp and all that. So it was like Klopp was going to go after him because he's been told he's the business. Never really happened. The Zubimendi one, that was coming up a lot last year because we needed a holding midfielder. Right. He's supposed to be the next Xabi Alonso, and he's at Real Sociedad, the club of Xabi Alonso, and people are thinking, Liverpool, Alonso goes to Liverpool, Zubimendi, 2 + 2 = happy days, I'm not really sure how strong those links will be again, but I was saying last night, if we were playing a double pivot and you wanted an Alonso and a Mascherano type combination, then by all accounts, this Zubimendi guy is that type. Right. Who knows, if he comes to the Premier League and can do it, or obviously anything can happen, but sounds like the profile that I'd like. He's not got his shout so much this year. I've been one you left off the list there for Spain is your man Fabian Ruiz, the guy that got the goal and assist there last night. Nico got a goal and assist, and he got a goal and assist.
Okay.
He's had a great tournament. That's his second goal, I think, at least the second. No, I think the top scorer is on 2. So yeah, he's someone who probably have a lot of interest in him. But,
yeah, Zubamendi is like a 50 million a market value, being evaluated as a 50 million, market value. That's and that for someone that the DM role, the DM price, considering that
good price
DMs have gone, you never would have thought you would have seen £100 million price tags put on.
Lad who had a good season at Brighton.
Exactly.
That's like some lad who literally some lad who, good player, but he had a good season at Brighton. 110 million quid, please.
Right. And that's, so, if we're looking at, and there's also apparently Danny Olmo has a release clause, and the release clause is 52 million. It's being reported. He is 26, so he's in that prime stage of his career.
That's good value. That's
football career.
Value that for him. I do like him a lot. But Zubamendi, I like also. Who else did we mention then?
Olmo.
And I get that too. Hyler brings up a good point. Why you search for your point?
Danny Olmo was the other guy we mentioned.
Arteta. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, Danny Olmo was the other guy we mentioned, Lee.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. And Zubamendi and Olmo are the two players we're talking about. And then, maybe he was talking about the player you mentioned too, Brian, the third player you said from Spain.
Fabian Ruiz, the Ruiz guy.
Maybe that player. Nico Williams, maybe you're thinking of? I didn't put Nico Williams in here.
Popped into my head, but I think it was just me. I don't think anyone said it, and then it just went out. Right. I had an idea of sort of to say about transfers, but it went. What I was thinking about.
I didn't put Nico Williams in here. I know Nico Williams is someone that is highly rated. I don't know if we would go in for Nico Williams unless we were to sell. I think if we were to sell like a Diaz, then I think we would go for Nico Williams. But I don't think we're gonna go for Nico Williams and have both of them on the roster. I don't think.
I'll tell you what it was. I forgot. Didn't we get quoted 100 million euros for Florentino Luis as a defensive midfielder?
If we could go for that, how much did you think? How much did you say?
100 million euros. I remember.
I would love that deal.
Yeah.
I was speaking on that yesterday, Lee. I would love that deal. He's a player I highly rate. He's a player that I started watching because we were linked to him last year, but that's before he re-signed his new deal and before the release clause went up and all this different little things. If we had really jumped on that opportunity at the time, that would have been a game changer, I think, for us, because we would have had a assured DM in a platoon situation of having Endo and him in that role. We would have been A-okay. And also the reason why is I'm going to go into it as well.
That's the Portuguese guy, right?
Once we get to Portugal, exactly. He's Portuguese. Yeah, that is true. He is Portuguese. But I will get into this.
Sorry, just quickly, where is he at? Porto or Benfica? Which one is he? Benfica.
Florentino Luis.
Yeah, Benfica. Is it?
He's at Benfica, I believe.
Okay, right.
I can double check for you.
Yeah, he's
Lee was saying it there, but yeah.
Yeah, he's a talent, man. And what he does a lot, again, I'll speak a little bit more on it, but he does the dirty work that allows João Neves to be able to do what he does for Portugal. So, and even for Benfica as well. But
let's get into sound of that.
Yeah.
And get to two of them.
Yeah, it'd be phenomenal. I was going to get into these other two names, or at least three names that are for Italy. Excuse me. And that is, we've once again been linked to Nico Barella, who has been a name that's been cycled and recycled for us. And another recycled name is Federico Chiesa.
Yeah, not happening.
And those two names are names I don't think are happening. Those are two names that are, if you talk about Italians that want to most likely stay in Italy, those two names are probably names that you would be bringing up pretty quickly. I know that there are plans. Now that Juventus have a new boss in Thiago Motta, but that I don't think is going to have any real say on Chiesa's departure from the team. And I don't think that I think that despite the fact that there has been interest in Nicolo Barella, I don't think that's happening either. The one name that is on this list that could be a possibility, and I know because a lot of people have been starting to very, very much warm to this player, and that is Riccardo Calafiori. And I don't know if we are going to make this acquisition or not. Are you bullish on Calafiori now that we've heard a lot more interest starting to gather some strength?
Yeah.
Or go ahead, Irishman. Go ahead.
Well, no, I just heard that because you were just talking about Motta, and Motta is his guy from Bologna. He brought him into the team. The reason Motta gets the Juve job is because of the success there, and he is hard set on following Motta
to Juventus,
Juve. But there is very, very bad blood
between the two teams,
the two clubs, because of a deal from last summer that I've forgotten the details of, but the deal from previous year, and they're not really on speaking terms. But it seems like, you're talking like this guy. Not only does he want to not leave Italy, he knows he wants to follow his manager to Juve. No, it's not. You don't get to make all these decisions yourself and go, I want to go here, I want to do this, I want to do that. They all have to want you and all that. But if you've got a guy that's that deep into the reasons why he wants to go to another club, then I don't even want to go near that deal.
Right.
Leave him to his little Italian love affair and go get somebody who wants to play for Liverpool. For like that, their dream is, or their number one club is Liverpool, and their, well, I was going to say their number one managers are in a slot, but you know what I mean. Yeah,
I agree, Lee. Yeah, are you bullish on this new Italian defender that has been garnering a lot of interest, not only from Liverpool but also from other clubs and throughout Europe?
Yeah, as good as he sounds, and everyone says he is, it's that stuff we were talking about previously, and I've done a couple of times about Italian players when they're young, or just Italian players full stop. It's not just the Premier League that they often flop. They flopped in Germany a lot as well. Italian
they don't
players.
travel. They don't travel anywhere.
Yeah, I've been to Germany and come back straight away nearly, like, you know what I mean?
Well, Chiesa went to Dortmund.
Yeah, it's a risk. The risk, mate. It's too much.
I think Barella wants to do what Zanetti did and like play 600 games for Inter and win everything. You've got a lot of these guys are there. As long as the money is good, you know, they don't want. Yeah, you try and send one of these guys to Liverpool or Manchester or Newcastle or Middlesbrough, they'll burn their passports. You know, unless they're getting paid stupid whack.
Yeah, I don't blame them if that's the way they are as people. I'm not bothered about that. Just don't buy any.
Exactly. Oh yeah, it's not a slight on the players at all. I've always just pointed out. Yeah, that's literally the one thing I have in football. It's exactly that. Never buy Italian. Just don't do it.
Yeah, we've brought up the simple realization that, you know, Italian players just don't travel well when it comes to leaving Italy. Their heart seems to stay in Italy, which is understandable. Italy's an incredible country.
Exactly. So. Exactly, and the football there is great. You know,
Yeah,
it's what they're born. It's a religion for some of these guys. Totti
right.
with Roma. I mean,
Mm,
he
No,
these guys,
it's
these are
what
mad passionate players, mad
yeah.
no,
passionate people.
Great that the way he stayed there the whole way through. Like, that
Oh,
was
I love
brilliant.
it. Yeah.
no,
I love that.
it's. Yeah, I was just gonna say it's what I think. I know as America, we're possibly going to bring back McKenny, I think, to the MLS. I was mentioning it yesterday, for instance, but I could say this, though, is that it's great to go out there and see your players play abroad, get knowledge and or get experience in other leagues or get experience in top leagues. But obviously, you want to keep your domestic talent at home. It would be ideal to keep them in the home league, of your home country. So, I mean, England knows it too well, it's Spain, Germany, a lot of these other countries. They have a border, definitely a interest in keeping their home talent home, and it's why Bayern Munich goes for a lot of German players. If it's a German player, that's a little bit extra incentive for them to keep them in Germany, as opposed to allowing for them to go on to a Real Madrid or a Manchester City or a Liverpool, or something like that.
Well,
But
yeah, you've got your team. Yeah, teams for every. I suppose every country. I suppose German people probably like if you could offer them just as much money to stay in a nice city in Germany, then why would they want up their family to move? It takes a special kind of person to want to globe trot and travel
yeah,
as well as do all of that. So if
let's
you
keep it
live in
100.
Italy, yeah,
Yeah,
Italy is an incredibly beautiful country with incredible culture, food, weather. I mean, the weather doesn't get any better. It doesn't get crazy hot. It's Mediterranean. It's the culture, the women or the men, if that's your thing. It's everything. Just everything is there's everything there is the most beautiful. Like the most beautiful art, the most beautiful people, most beautiful food.
there you
They'll tell
go.
you it. They'll tell you that about it. Italians will say that about Italy. So they say, why
That
the hell
is,
would I
I did
gonna
not know
move
that
to
you had a
Manchester?
second job as the Italian travel bureau. That
I
is
just
great. That's good money if you can get it, man. Good money if you can
well,
get it.
I'm telling you, I don't just have these notion. I don't just say don't buy Italian. Like I can talk about it for 10 minutes why it's a bad idea to buy Italian players.
Hey,
Like
I buy.
have you
I
seen
don't mind buying
Middlesbrough?
Italian if it's like
But
Lamborghini or Ferrari,
yeah, but
those
if
kinds
it's a
of things.
footballer, but have you seen
Even
Middlesbrough?
Maserati. There you go.
Look, just Google image Middlesbrough, right, and then Google image Milan, and come back to me.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Mhm.
Um, I'll move on to Group C then. Group C has Group C is an interesting group because it does include England. So I guess we can bring up one particular name as well, but I'll leave that for second. First name I wanted to bring up is this Benjamin Sesko. Benjamin Sesko has been a name that we've been targeted or has been targeted as a possibility. I don't think that we're going to get him because I believe that he has somewhat. You get someone in the chat probably. Tyler most likely will correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that Sesko was an interest in Chelsea and Arsenal, but
Oh
I
yeah,
believe he's
yeah.
looking to stay with his
He is staying. Yeah,
club. Yeah. Right.
he is. He's staying. Yeah,
So yeah, so that is somewhat of a dead issue. But there are other players that we have been linked to that do play for England. And Mark Gahey is a name that has been out there from Crystal Palace. I don't think that he as talented of a player he is. I think that he's got a England tax being put on his name now to the point where I don't think that his going price is something that I would move for. And then there's also the big name that's been out there, and that is Anthony Gordon. There has been rumors that there was another, other than Kwanzaa, there was another name that apparently was our rebuttal in that we offered another player plus cash to Newcastle. That's being
I haven't heard that one.
yeah, that's been the reports are out there that's been that was the situation.
Who did we
I
get a
know
name?
that's where I knew you're going to ask that question. I'm still doing the research
Well,
and still trying to find out who it is. I haven't come across the name that they're speculating it was. But
let's play a guessing game. So, who do we and everybody in the chat, who do we think this mystery player is that Liverpool apparently offered in part exchange for Anthony Gordon instead of Jarrell Quanta? So yeah, guesses in the this is good. Guesses in the chat. Who do we think this mystery player was? Obviously, we're not going to have an answer. Like, I'm just Kelleher. That's our first guess. Not a bad shout, maybe.
If it was Kelleher, that would be interesting because they do need a goalkeeper.
Yeah, and I think that's the right level. I that's exactly the right level for him.
Absolutely.
A little bit of bias, obviously, from us.
That's a great shout, Bonkers. I did not even think about that, but that is a great shout. He would get first team, certainly, as long as they could, he would certainly get first team, play there. He would also,
we wouldn't offer them we wouldn't have gone down the Nat Phillips route, would we? Like, we wouldn't have been silly and offered them like someone that we know they wouldn't want. Like, it's obviously he's like an actual decent player, right? You'd imagine. Simicas? Do they need a left back? Oh no, they don't. No, they just bought. No, they just bought one for freaking 35 million. Actually, didn't they? That Madison guy from.
Yeah, I don't think they need a left back.
No, it wouldn't have been Simi. Yeah. Who else would we be willing to let go? Say on a loan. Who else would we?
I know that I know there's a name that I don't know.
Lee's abandoned. He's just gone full. Yeah, he's just the contacts are gone. Yeah, he's just gone for the glass.
Yeah, they weren't working. There was I think the eyes were just dry or something like that.
Probably because they're new or something. Takes it a while to. I've never worn glasses. I don't know. So I maybe they take a while or something.
There is a name that I think that is possibly looming, but people don't want to say it because I actually heard on Redman, and I do watch Redman quite a bit. I value a lot of the points that they say. I also think some of the points they say obviously aren't copacetic with what I believe in. I think Ravenberg is too. By the way, Bonkers, I think Ravenberg is too. That would be. I don't think we've given up on Gravenberg. It's too soon to
way too soon.
Yeah, it's too soon to give up on Gravenberg. And Gravenberg isn't pushing for an exit from the team as opposed to Kelleher. Now I just lost my train of thought. Sorry about that.
Redman TV.
But Redman TV. Thank you once again. Redman TV. And they were going back and forth. Now, this name is the name that they offered. I haven't seen it in the chat, so I'll just offer it for laugh's sakes, because I would never do this. This is why this comment, put it this way, this comment made me want to leave a comment, for their chat. But they offered
drum roll.
Luis Diaz as being the name that they would have.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay. If you were saying, because you were building up to all controversial, so I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say Harvey Elliott. I wouldn't have thought. They're talking almost kind of a straight.
Harvey Elliott would bang at Newcastle. I think he would definitely do well.
But Diaz and Gordon, you'd be talking about nearly a straight swap there. There wouldn't be hardly anything really in the valuation. That'd be like
they're talking about
who
Diaz
would be more
and cash though. They're saying Diaz and cash.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
That's
like, who would you be?
Wild.
Who's paying the money?
That's a joke, that, isn't it? Like Diaz and cash with Gordon.
Yeah, like I said, I enjoy the forum of debate that YouTube provides for us and other social media platforms. I'm trying to What's
I mean,
the female's name on Redmond? I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
I
don't know if someone in the chat probably knows.
haven't watched them in years.
Chloe or something.
Chloe, there you go, Chloe.
Yeah,
Yes, the lovely Chloe. The lovely
That's it.
Chloe says that she would do that deal, and it broke my heart to hear her say that. I'm like, I get
Is it
it.
because he's from Liverpool? Is it because he's from the academy, or are they like he's like a scout?
Oh no, they were definitely doing some PR massaging to kind of, if we do end up getting Gordon, by saying, oh well, he played for Liverpool, which he did, and how he is a Scouser, which he is, and how those are the and how he's a player that you hate, but if he was playing for your team, you would probably love, which is probably accurate. I will agree. There are players out there that I hate, but if they were a Red, I would learn to love them in a way, But I just don't. Diaz plus cash. That's absurd.
It's when you said the PR thing, it did remind me when I said like, because I gave up, and don't take this the wrong way, anybody out there, like I gave up watching them because they were too scouts. Like they back in the day used to make all these, like a lot of their conversations would be referencing things and places in Liverpool, and like they just would be going over my head, they're like, because you know what it's like when you're down in the Dog and Duck or something, and everything. Yeah, and I'm like, no, I don't know what it's like down there. It's a lot of this kind of stuff that it just kind of went over my head a bit. I really enjoyed the kind of factual stuff.
Over my head, some of it as well, and I'm a Scouser.
But it's just what I was just going to say to what 12 Man was saying before I lose my train of thought. I have heard, like I haven't watched them in years, and you're talking about the kind of the PR angle, and yes, that there has been a lot of kind of let's just say talk about how friendly they are with the club and how they are very pro FSG or whatever. So if they're coming out and they're talking big about how much they would love a particular player, that would make me believe that potentially that's the club line, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I have heard them be accused. Now, look, more power to these guys for making a great living out of it.
I watch Redmond TV.
They get the access.
And I support them. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, they say, they won't talk shit about FSG because they get access. They've sold their souls, yada, yada, yada. Well, look, until you've walked a mile in a man's shoes and all that. So I don't blame them for becoming a more, let's say, less critical, because they were never mad critical anyway. But just to get, to get a bit of access and toe the line a little bit.
Yeah,
you can tell they are a little bit. I'm not going to say the S word that starts with S and ends with Hill, which I won't. I'm not going to say that. But there has been accusations that they are a mouthpiece. I don't think they're a mouthpiece, but I think it's very interesting that if they're very, very big on this guy that a lot of people are negative about, that to me would suggest that maybe they've been given a nod and a wink to say this is a guy the club like and want.
I think though I think that by them saying, by it being leaked out there that the Kwanzaa thing was one thing, we all laughed at that. That was like insulting. Okay, we get that. Yeah. That was there. But that's what you do in negotiations. You don't negotiate low, and then expect to get something that you even went in for. So you go in high. You say, let me take your best young talent. One of your best young talents is arguable, but I mean, I would say he is our best young talent. We had a show on that, and
unrealistic.
What's that?
No, I called them amateurs earlier on because that was a clown move. That was like, okay, I've negotiated hard now with you to buy your house off you. And just as you're about to leave, I'm like, yeah, but by the way, I want your dog as well. You're like, you're not getting the dog. I'm not giving you the dog. Like, what are you asking for the dog? That's gonna no. And it's like, we thought we'd be, try and get, ask for a Simicast or something.
Yeah.
Don't ask for someone we're not going to sell to you.
Yeah.
Come on, be serious.
I wouldn't actually pay any cash for him. I don't think he's actually worth a transfer fee. If he was free, I'd have him maybe free. If we needed like a player in that position, like a shit
Yeah.
winger, we needed a shit winger, then I'd have him for free. But I wouldn't pay money for him, and I definitely wouldn't give them
How about
players the money for him. I'd
how
give them
about
Adrian for him because I've Adrian, if he's still here, if he hasn't gone yet, he can
how
go
about
there.
this? How about
DJ and
this?
Ascot.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut your point off. Did you? I want land your point. Land your point. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying he could have Adrian, like, if they want to be silly about things, like, he could have Adrian, you know what I mean?
Adrian.
'Cause, like, he can be
Okay.
Jay up there, can't he? Like, instead of Carrius, or him and Carrius can do it together, can't he? As a tag team, as two
Oh my
goalies,
gosh.
in Europe, like,
I was
against
gonna.
different sides. Carrius against Real Madrid and bloody Adrian against Atletico Madrid.
I was just gonna suggest. How about this as a suggestion? If I could put it out to the Gordon camp, and I would say even to Gordon himself. Look, we've had a checkered past, to say the least. But I know that a lot of youngsters out there look up to some of these new players out there, like your Mbappe's and the likes. Why not do a Mbappe style move? If you love Liverpool so much, ride out your contract, leave on a free, and then come to Liverpool. That's the way you want it. You want to show us some good faith. You want to show us that you got the heart and soul of a Liverpool player. Say cool. I'm not going to try to tax the war chest of Liverpool and take away money that they could bring other viable players that will help us solidify our fortunes. I'm going to go to Liverpool on a free. That's the only way that I would like to see Gordon be a part of this team. That's my suggestion. So I don't know if that goes well over or not, but I think it's a viable suggestion, though. But all good.
Well, I'm sure you'll be waiting a while. He probably signed that deal.
I don't know how long his deal
Years
is. I'd have to look up his deal.
I'd be waiting at least 3 years, I'd say.
Yeah. So,
but the kid, he did 3 years at the Liverpool Academy, and then he went to Everton as an 11-year-old. So he's a Liverpool fan. He's from Liverpool. He's a Liverpool fan, but he's been with Everton since he was 11. So
until recently, when that came out, I never knew that. I just assumed he grew up an Everton fan, and which I don't know why I assumed that, because like it's very often not the case.
Well,
you know,
you ever see the way he reacts when he scores against Liverpool? You know, I've seen more. Oh well, he doesn't score. Sterling doesn't score against us too often, but I think you would see more like consideration from like Sterling or even a Coutinho scoring against us than you would from Gordon, who definitely likes to rub it in a little bit if he does get the opportunity.
Yeah, I wouldn't be happy to part with cash for him if he was free, yes, but not for actual cash. Like if I heard we were buying him for 10 million euros, even, I'd have a cob on because I think like that we were being hard.
Yeah. It's a sad state that the market's in. Big up to those of you that are sticking with us during the Portugal game. Big up to all of you guys. I know that I do appreciate the fact that you might have been rocking with us the entire time, or maybe you're tuning in and you're watching both at the same time. But either way, I appreciate the fact that you guys have us on in the background or as the main focus. Which even
still 0-0.
Yeah, still 0-0. Not much of a shocker there. Let me pull up here.
But I would. You were talking about the guy Sesko.
Mm-hmm.
I like him. I like him very much. He seems to be a bit of a Haaland regen type thing, and it is good to see that I know. Look, they were never completely dead. There's always going to be some of these guys, but to see someone who looks like an older school number 9, but with strength and with that kind of modern athleticism that's required, he's someone who appears to be kind of having his club career mapped out for him, and it's kind of Red Bull. It's Salzburg to Leipzig, and then Leipzig will get the big money for him, and I can see him being Chelsea or something like Arsenal in the next 2 years. Yeah, but he's going, if he keeps going the way they want him to go and develops the way they want him to develop. Again, you're talking triple figures. You're talking £100 million because he's a goal scorer. He is a goal scorer, and he's huge. He's strong. He's like when he's on it, there's not a lot you can do about him. So he could thrive in the Premier League where that kind of physicality is needed sometimes. So a much quicker. It looks to me like a slightly quicker Harry Kane, Haaland, not a Harry Kane, Haaland type. So could come to nothing, but could be an absolute monster in 2 years. So one to keep an eye on. But I wouldn't be going out there tomorrow and going, oh yeah, break the bank for him. Oh, let's buy him up now. I definitely think you'd be kind of like, I don't know. Let's just wait and let Chelsea spend 80 million quid on him. Yeah, because
that's not a big thing. It's not even a matter of waiting for Chelsea. Chelsea will spend on like
they tried to get him last year. They've been trying and trying and trying. So I really do like him as a player though. He's different. He's not a little number 10 or a winger or an inside forward. He's just a proper big, powerful. Reminds me a little bit, say, kind of like a Christian Vieri, maybe something like that. Not someone you want to be playing against as a defender, and you'd love on your team. Jeez, Ronaldo has been very dramatic tonight for some reason, screaming and shouting.
Maybe because I got him as my captain. He's trying to show. He's trying to make
He's
me
just
happy.
scared that he's not getting this year's Ballon d'Or, and he went off his head.
Ronaldo. Yeah, time gone, time passed, time gone. But all the same, I was going to update you guys to say that Anthony Gordon has got a deal for his current deal is he makes £60,000 a week, £60,000 a week, and his deal is good until 2026.
2 more years.
June 30th of 2026 is when his deal comes up or ends with Newcastle.
I hope he's very happy there, like until the end of his contract.
Yeah. Let's
I think they wanted that money, and they got that money from your man Meresh and the guy Anderson, so they're chilled about that now. So he might have to sit on his
hands for a little bit,
and just be like, well, look, you didn't get your move, go and do it. But just to round it up on him, like you say, don't like him. Like Lee says, I wouldn't pay I wouldn't have paid what they paid for him. Right. Like, I think on today's market, if you wanted more than 30, 35, I'd be like, nah, no thanks. So, I can't imagine there's a Liverpool fan out there that was like, let's get that deal done.
Yeah.
For what Anthony Jones, since he's been a Premier League player, the price they've quoted is ridiculous. Where's the evidence that he's worth that money? Where's his stunning runs and goals? There aren't any, mate. There's about 3 goals, and none of them were even any good. I've never even seen him score a boss goal. Just like normal crap ones. Like
he looks decent on the break, running a pace. Like when a team has been caught up pitch, and he's got 40 yards of pace to run into. That's when he looks decent. But I've never seen him play football. Well, I've never seen him play. But anyway, we'll move on from Mr. Gordon.
There's only so much I could talk about Gordon. I just think again, if you want to be a part of Liverpool, I would suggest, hey, let's revisit this 2026, and I'd be more than, and we'll see how your attitude and your goal celebrations against us, if you have the fortune to score against us, how they change, and how you kind of set the table for a move. Group D is next. Group D obviously has the Dutch, and it has some names, obviously Cody and Ryan and Verge all playing. Verge is a player that we do need to figure out if we're going to give a renewal of a contract. That's a big question mark here, as the 33-year-old is certainly, I think, has plural years left in him. But it's a matter of what Edwards and the board think that he is got left in the tank, and what his value is to the club. I hope that they don't make the wrong decision. But there are some other names out there, obviously, as we have a Feyenoord coach now, former Feyenoord coach. Obviously, pretty much the entire starting 11 in one way or another at some time was linked to our team in one way or another of a player that would be brought with this coach. Two of those players were the goalkeeper, Justin Bigelow, and defender Geertrudia, right? Both very, very talented players. I don't know if they're necessarily Liverpool level players, but I just I put their names in there. I'm just going to kind of like push them to the side a little bit. I don't think that they're realistic. But I might say by saying that, watch Liverpool try to say, "Oh, I'll do you one better. Hold my beer." But the names that are on there in Group D were Toon Koopminer, who's a big, who I know Daryl's a big fan of.
That's Daryl's boy.
Yeah, that's his guy. That is his guy. He loves himself some Toon. And another name out there is Daniel Malen. Daniel Malen, who plays for Borussia Dortmund. He's been linked with us as well.
For a long time.
For a long time, he's been linked with us. That's certainly true.
He was joining Liverpool. If you look back, if you were to search, I don't know, the day he joined Dortmund and look at the Liverpool channels 2 nights before he joined Dortmund, it's all Malen to Liverpool, Malen to Liverpool, Malen to Liverpool. Like, that was a done deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because people knew he was moving, but the thing was like, so they were guessing it was Liverpool. But again, that was another kind of a Klopp-based one, and he had an awful first season there. Mm-hmm. He was really poor. He ripped it up in the Eredivisie. He went to Dortmund, didn't do so well. Now he's kind of got, he's coming off. Yeah, he's probably doing okay, but that's a name from the past. That guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's done it. Like, he's not done anything to make me think, oh, I wish those rumors had been true.
Yeah,
and
that's a must get. Yeah, that's a must get.
Yeah, like when he went to Dortmund, it was like, oh, okay, he was going to go to Liverpool. Well, I never believed it in the first place, and yeah, he didn't do well.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a name that's popped up. He's a tricky little inside forward kind of type. Probably a good player, in a good system, in a good team. Probably a good squad player for us, but no better than a Diego Jota, who they're showing warming up there. Or a Gakpo. Yeah. Not really, no. Not really. Nah, I think he's got a few bits and pieces here and there, and that's about it.
No, but he has played as sub, has he? He has.
He's come on. Yeah, he's got minutes. Yeah, he hasn't. He's not a starter for them. Ronaldo is starting, and the other guy, Conceição, gets games. Neto got a game. I don't think he even got into that dead rubber game when they were already qualified. He might have started that one, the third game.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's warming up there, but this is poor from Portugal. 0-0 at halftime, basically, against Slovenia. Yeah, Slovenia. Yeah, Slovakia against England. Yeah, Slovenia.
Yes. I know there's a lot of names, or some of the countries are kind of, I won't say easy, but so there's a Slovenia, there's a Slovenia, there's a Slovakia. Sometimes even Serbia can sometimes get jumbled in the head sometimes. Speaking of Group E, I did have some names that were a little bit, speaking of Slovakia, like as in that were a little bit more likely, and that was Johan Bakayoko is a name out there. He plays for Belgium, obviously. I haven't really been super impressed by his performances so far in Euros, at least. I haven't really watched a lot of his play other than that, but he's a name that was being put out there as a long-term replacement for Mo Salah. There's another name out there.
A lot of talk about him actually even last summer. Yeah, that's a name that's come up a lot too.
Yeah.
Tricky right winger type guy, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he can play both wings technically, but yeah. But primarily he's looking at as being as a right wing replacement for us. And then another name that we and also Chelsea have been reportedly interested in, and that is the RB Leipzig player of Luis Openda, who apparently is a very high interest for both us and Chelsea again. He's had a pretty good year for RB Leipzig, so he's gotten some interest just from his. It's not just he's just doing well in Euros. More so, he is a player that we have been monitoring. He had 28 goals and 7 assists in 45 appearances for RB Leipzig this year. So,
oh really?
Yeah. So he was putting in some decent numbers for them. For
Openda.
Sure. Yeah.
The Belgian guy. He came on in the game there today. That lad.
Yeah. Yep.
Say those numbers again.
28 goals. His record of 28 goals and 7 assists in 45 appearances for RB Leipzig in 2023-2024.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Is he a striker or like a?
I'll bring up his. I'll go in and see.
He's kind of like but he's another kind of tricky wide man type, isn't he? Like a Diaby. He's not a number 9.
Yeah,
those
he's
are
not
crazy numbers.
Right.
Those are
that might be all
comps
though too. Keep that in mind.
Oh, I'd imagine it is. Yeah,
it's
45 if it's because they don't play 45 league games. So
yeah. So it has to be all comps.
But still, no, 28 and like that's not a.
He's done. He's only played 7 minutes, and he's played 7 whole minutes so far. That was the one little appearance you saw him, like you said.
Yeah, he came on late in the game today. Yeah.
Yeah. 28 goals. The previous year before that, he played for Lens in France and had 42 appearances, 21 goals with Lens. His early starts. This is early in his career when he was he's young, guys. He's 24 years old, but this is when he was 18, 19, 20 years old. He had 53 starts with Club Bruges, but here, I'll bring it up for you. Club Bruges, but he's also he had only 5 goals, but he was on loan from with Betis from July 2020 to June of 2022 and had 37 goals, all comps with them over those 2 years. I'll pull up his stats for you. A second.
And who do they compare him to? That's what I want to see. Then I'll get it.
Oh, you want to see? Okay.
Yeah,
I'll bring up the FB ref. I'll bring up the FB ref. This is football mob. It's like a stat.
The one that helped me most is the player comparison thing because I can.
I don't know if they have player comparisons on here.
Those are some crazy numbers, man. That guy clearly knows how to score goals.
Yeah, this right here, this little graph in the corner has like a comparison. It's like his stats compared to other forwards in not only in his league but throughout all of Europe. And
Yeah,
he
it's just
ranks in the
it's player
96th
style.
percentile.
Oh, they have
He
him as a
ranks,
striker there. They have him as a
as a
striker.
striker.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd really like to see that FB ref one though, the one where it shows you what other type that he's like. That's a really good one, I think. That's a really like I really like that on FB ref because it's kind of like, yeah, but you know what? Who does he play like? What it's like? Oh, well, he's a striker. Yeah, but no, he's like this striker and that striker, and then you look through that list, and all those strikers will be very similar. You'd be like, oh, okay, I get exactly what they mean. You know, they don't just throw like Harry Kane and you know.
Well, in the Bundesliga alone, he had 24. In the Bundesliga alone, he had 24 goals and 7 assists.
Yeah.
In Champions League, he had 8 matches played. He had 4 goals for them in Champions League.
I'm starting to like this guy. I am starting to like this guy.
Yeah, that's pretty good stats. The players that they rate him against, or similar players to Openda, are Ollie Watkins, Balogun, who I'm very
he's a
bullish
proper
on.
9 then.
Vlahovic.
Okay.
Yeah, Vlahovic.
Right.
Nunez,
okay. He's a proper 9.
Boniface.
Yeah.
Yeah. Osimhen.
Yeah. Okay.
Wahi from Lons. Isaac. Harry Kane. Yeah, they have the names they have on
proper
here. Skamaka from Atalanta. Yeah, they're all proper strikers that they have him rated against.
I am really
as a similar players to him. I'll bring up this real quick.
No, as soon as they said Ollie Watkins first, I was like, okay, I get it. Cool. Now I know. Like, this is, I didn't know a lot because I've heard his name mentioned, and every time they talk about him, I just remember that other Belgian striker. I don't probably anyone remembers him, Emil Mpenza, which sounds like Apenda, but it was Emil Mpenza. And they also had another guy that said, but Emil Mpenza back in the early 2000s was a great striker. But I didn't know anything about this kid. Like, look at them green bar. Look at green is good. Look at all them green things.
Yeah,
we should be
94 percentile for MPJ, and 94 percentile for non-penalty XG, 93rd percentile for shot totals, 72 percentile for assists. Let's see some of his other progressive carries, 91 percentile, which is excellent.
How is this guy not being talked about going to some of the biggest clubs?
Attacking penalty box. What's that?
How is this guy not being talked about going to some of the biggest clubs and you see these numbers? I don't get it. How is this guy not being talked about?
What nationality?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Belgian.
He's Belgium. He's a Belgian player. Plays for RB Leipzig.
Maybe there's a reason. He's just signed a new deal.
We do have some good connections with the Red. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying maybe there's a reason why. He's just said there's a new deal or there's delay. Yeah, maybe there is a reason why he's not being talked. Like he's just signed a new contract, or they've come out and said, "Oh, he's not going anywhere."
Let me find out what his contract is.
But I just those numbers get me excited. I would be all over this kid. You know, if that was a deal that this guy was out there on the market, and like you say, we did just bring in Szoboszlai from the same club, right? Yes, Leipzig, the same club. So,
I mean, like I was gonna say, we do have a relationship with RB across pretty much all their teams for the most part. Now, especially that we have a former coach going and coaching for one of the RB teams. But we do have a really good relationship with RB when it comes to getting deals done. Let me see.
They do deals. That's the thing about RB. They know they're not a top club. They know they should sell. They know if they don't sell, that's a young talent that's wanted by a big club. Other young talents won't join them.
Right.
They play the market right. They can say, look, you come here and look what we did with player X, Y, and Z. Real Madrid, Man United, and Arsenal came in for them. We didn't.
He's got a
So,
lengthy contract. That's probably why they're not. That's probably why.
yeah,
He's got 5 years left. He's making
they'll sell him though. They'll sell him if the right number comes in for him. They will sell him.
He's making 108,000 euros a week on his contract. He's got 5 years. He's got 5 years left on his contract, and he's got a release clause of 80 million euros. So that's the price it would cost to get him, is 80 million euros, whatever that is in equipment. I mean, that's not that bad. It's like it's like in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
So
Call it
maybe
70.
75 million for 75 million, something like that. 70
Well,
million,
for those numbers,
it's a option worth looking at. It's definitely an option worth looking at. It's interesting he's not getting that many minutes considering those kinds of numbers with Belgium, but
maybe they'd still be in the tournament if they hadn't started Lukaku.
Possibly. The last name I have on this list before we get to the final group is David Hanko, Slovakian, plays for Feyenoord. Again, a name being connected to a club that is our new gaffer's former club. He is an interest, obviously because of Arne Slot, but also because he has been playing pretty well. He has had 93 appearances over 2 campaigns with them. I would knock on wood for just in case we do get him. He doesn't have a injury-prone situation. It's been straight appearances for him. It's a left-sided defender. It's a name that isn't. Again, I don't watch a lot of Dutch football, but it's not a name that I am pushing people over to necessarily bring into this team. But he could be possibly a name that remove this. He could be a name that interests you. Does that name interest you, Lee?
Is he a left-sided centre half or a left back?
Here, I'll bring up his statistics for you.
Yeah, I think he's centre half anyway.
Yeah, he's a left center back, but he
He
can play left back too, though. The reason why he can play left back and he can play left center back.
I like the sound.
He is 26 years old, 188 centimeters.
Good aid.
When it comes to, let me bring up his numbers here for you guys. This was actually probably a little bit more readable.
Hot honey crunch chicken, man.
Yeah, right.
Hot honey chicken.
Oh my goodness! All right. Yeah. So these are his numbers. He's got a market value of 38 million euros on the market value that they rate him at. They have him also. Again, he's 26 years old, so he is starting to push that number where we don't necessarily look to get involved in players. I can say that his player traits, when compared to other center backs, are exceptional. I mean, 96% percentile with his chances created, 97 percentile with touches, 100% with his shots attempted, 100 percentile in the shots potential, 96 percentile in his goals. I don't like that he has 11% in his aerial duels won. That's not good. Defensive actions, 4%. He sounds like more of an aggressive, more of an offensive, advanced left back, if not left center back, than he is.
He's not very tall for a defender.
No,
he's not very tall for a defender. 1.8 isn't massive.
11 goals though. 11 goals though from.
He's clearly an attacker.
To now, he's had 11 goals, so that's not bad. 93 appearances. A lot of appearances. Sparta Prague was the team that he was playing before this. Yes, that is true. That is true, Hylor. He has had just this is like his debut. This is his debut.
It's his first season in the Bundesliga, and he did that.
Yeah.
that to me is impressive. Like that's just like, yeah, I mean, maybe that's where Hylar means it. Like
Yeah,
he's not even had a year to settle in. He just went there and just started
he
ripping it up
started.
straight
Yeah,
away.
hit the ground running. Yeah,
It just shows, like you said, he went to Holland. He went for France, right? He goes, he's scoring well. You said he didn't score a lot in France, but he's very young. But he's playing in
yeah,
France. He goes to Holland, he scores goals. He goes to somewhere else, scores goals. Goes to a bigger club, scores goals. First season. Yeah, and the other guy is
yeah.
Sesko, and
He was
Sesko is
at
playing tonight.
France. He was in France because he was
Yeah,
Lens in France.
and
And I don't know.
Sesko is playing tonight against Portugal. So uh,
Yeah,
he's another one that's in action
yeah.
tonight. So that's really. I just think that's really impressive. This Yanko Guido, I don't know.
We're at halftime too. 0-0 halftime. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Do we need a left back until we sell a left back? I don't think we buy someone like Yanko. I think it's probably. I think this is going to be one of those domino things where
Hmm, hmm.
we might make a move, but we ain't going to make a move until someone leaves.
Right.
We're not going to buy someone and not sell Simicast in his position. We might buy someone, but only if we sell him. And if we
Yeah.
don't sell him, then he'll stay. But I don't see. I think that's definitely a kind of a domino thing. Uh, I'd like to see the other side of centre half done for the right side
Before we focus on that.
to
Yeah.
basically kind of replace Ibu, without replacing him outright, but basically say, right, well, there's a big obstacle there now for you to get back in
Yeah.
that team.
Yeah, we do Richard too. Richard's
And
saying the
play him
similar
alongside Van
things. We
Dijk.
need to replace like a Matip. We need to replace a Matip. The
Yeah,
hole that Matip leaves on this team, with the veteran presence and experience, reliability, and then improve upon that being the reliability, hopefully on availability, which is a key feature and probably one of the only reasons why you
well, Matip
yourself
would
might
have been.
be in that same camp with me of saying that if Konate can get a little bit better control of his availability, I would love for him to stay. I think he's a phenomenal center back. But if he can't, then we've got to do what we've got to do. And that's that. Let's bring up Group F right now, and I'm gonna bring Lee in on this discussion with the players because there's quite a few players on the Group F list. Portugal is currently playing right now.
Badly.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I had any Slovenia players in here, but let me double check. No, I don't have any Slovenia players. Primarily, the players I have in Group F are Turkey and I have a Turkey player, I have a Georgia player, and I also have a lot of Portugal players. The players that I don't know what country you want to go with first, but let's go with Turkey since I have one player from there, and then we'll go to Georgia since I have one player from there, and then we'll go into the bigger selection, which is Portugal. For Turkey, I have a unique player. Oh, trust me, I would love to see that player be the player that we go for. By the way,
Yeah, well,
would love to see that happen. Don't likely see it being the case though.
I'd like to.
Um,
I said this. I said that on Quasi's stream earlier on, just before we moved, because it's brought up. I said I would like to see us just test Madrid with a bid for him, just
that'd be
to
nice. Yeah.
because they have Rodrigo, Mbappe, Endrick, Vinny. Let's just see what happens if someone says we're prepared to pay 80 million, 90 million for this kid.
Mm-hmm.
If I wouldn't mind seeing us just test the water on it a little bit. I think the chances of that happening would be in like the single figure percentage, like 1%, 2% of him ever joining us. But
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind seeing us going out there and kind of saying to Europe, we're interested in and in a position to pay for
Mm-hmm.
an Arda there.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have a lot of attackers. I don't want them on loan or any crap like that, but Madrid can go, oh, well, let's let him go to Liverpool, and in 4 years' time, he'll only be 26 or something. We can bring him back, maybe. I don't know, but
like a buyback clause in there or something.
no, but they might just say, well, let's. But when I put that into the chat, I'll finish on this. K-Max said that we were going to go for Rodrigo, and I was like, I'd be totally on board with that as well. But I wouldn't mind seeing us put in a bid for Arda, because that kid is beyond special.
Talent.
Beyond
He's a talent.
special.
Yeah, especially since his last club in Turkey, he got apparently his deal was, I think they got him for like 17.5 million or something like that, euros. That is, but it ended up being like they ended up paying in all in. They ended up paying 20 million euros up front, and then had 10 million euros bonus clause on there, and then they also had a 20% sell-on clause. So if
Fenner.
Real Madrid were to sell him, then his original club of Fenerbahce, right?
Yeah, Fenerbahce.
Is going to get 20% of whatever ends up getting.
Big up Tarmizi.
Big up M Tarmizi in the house. Big up, bro.
Long time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his current release is. I don't know what his current release is. I don't have a number on there. He's signed for 6 years though, and
he's ungettable. He's ungettable. I know he is. He's ungettable. Yeah. He is. I know he is. I'd love
he makes
to.
100,000 euros a week. Makes 100,000 euros a week. He's getting paid well. He's also, very young, signed to a 6-year deal, so it would be very difficult to get to maneuver that. I know I had him as a possible target in my sporting director hand at sporting director, but the chances are very unlikely. I might have come across a natural release clause that I looked. I didn't really come across it really quickly.
I don't really know that guy that Tarmizi was asking about, but I have watched because like maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong or hearing it differently. But I think they've been involved in definitely one of the best games that I've seen. I've seen pretty much all of them, apart from maybe one or two. Turkey, they were pretty crappy, I think, in one game. Yeah, in the middle game. But in the first games and the third game, like Çalhanoğlu, like is very like Xhaka in the Swiss team. Like everything goes through Çalhanoğlu. He's brilliant. He's one of those guys. He doesn't always do it, in club football. But he's one of those kind of old school set piece. Like he can score a free kick from 40 yards kind of guy. But he's just a real orchestrator for them. He's brilliant. Like they just keep giving him the ball. He's class. Turkey have been really, really entertaining when they played. They've been one of the some teams have been really boring to watch.
Tarmizi's guy is a left back.
Yeah, the fullback guy. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, I see. Put it in there. Yeah.
But yeah, Turkey, especially because they dropped Güler for the second game and they putting all their chips in the basket for the third game. But I think Güler is still. People are talking about the Bellingham one, and yeah, maybe the timing and all that. And there is another Turkish goal that's up there, but for me, Güler is still goal of the tournament.
Well, this is the other player. The other player I don't know too much about, so I don't know if he's Turkish though. Oh, he is Turkish. My fault. He is Turkish. But maybe he's playing in Netherlands though, or something like that. Okay, but the player, the left back that M Tarmizi is bringing up. Again, he's making 56,000 a week. He is on a contract that sees out till 2026. So, and he's a left back for Turkey. I was going to bring up this particular player, and I'll bring up his name right now. He plays for Benfica again. What's unique about this player is that he can play not only defensive midfielder, but he can play center mid and he can also play even attacking mid, which shows a little bit of versatility for a player. He's 23 years old, Turkish nationality, 33 million is his market value. Is 175 centimeters. I don't know if that's necessarily too tall or not, but but again, he has a lot of touches in the percentiles. He's in good for touches, 92 percentile, 97 percentile for chances created, 94% percentile in shots attempted, 90 percentile in goals. His defensive actions not so great, 13% and 6% for aerial duels. So he's not very, even though defensive midfielder is his primary, he's not necessarily a juggernaut when it comes to the defensive, the DM or the defensive numbers there. Bring up some of his defending here. Like the orange isn't the greatest. He's more so looking at his goals, and his assists are more so what you look at when it comes to this player. Have you guys seen this player play at all? You said you've been watching Turkey. Have you seen this guy play, Lee, by any chance?
I haven't. No, I can't say that I have. No,
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been really, really good. They've always had great players.
His release clause is ridiculous, though. His release clause is 128.
Yeah, it's Benfica. Yeah,
it's 128 million is his release clause. So that is a ridiculous release clause. There's no way.
That's only for Chelsea, though. That's only for Chelsea.
Possibly.
But he's a really good little player. Turkey always have great individuals, great technicians.
Mm-hmm.
Even some of the better players in the Germany team, like Özil and Gundogan, these are Turkish descent. They're the technical players. So they don't always put it together at tournaments, but they're putting it together this year a little bit. And he's been definitely one of their better players, at least on the eye. Has it all, probably. Yeah, he is definitely 120. He's the next guy to go to a big Spanish club for. He won't go for that. That's just his release. He won't go for that unless some stupid English club. Like that's what I'm talking about Chelsea.
Right.
He'll go somewhere for 60 or 70 maybe. He'll go from Portugal to Spain, and then. But I have watched it. I do like him. Yeah, him, Çalhanoğlu, and Güler, and there's another winger type guy they have. Again, the Turkish names I can forget them. Sorry, but or I can get them mixed up. I mean, so not at that number, really. But lovely little player through the middle, great technique. Good passer of the ball. They don't play him like Çalhanoğlu sits deep and just orchestrates everything, and he runs around and just does well on the ball. Really energetic, neat, and tidy player.
Does he play a destroyer style for Turkey?
For them, it kind of probably depends on but like they just like to give the ball to Çalhanoğlu in the middle, so they have other players around him and working and all of that. But he can see kind of he it's kind of like the Kante will get the ball off someone, but he'll also burst forward. He seems to be that kind of type of player. He doesn't just want to sit and give it. He wants to kind of get forward and get involved as well. So really busy, hard-working player. Probably not like, Liverpool level, but who knows? I don't know. But that's a big release clause. So they obviously rate him very highly.
Mm-hmm. The other name is from Georgia, and that is Maradona, as they like to call him, or KK, as I like to say, because his name is not exactly easy to pronunciate. But there are reports that in Italy that he is interested in a move. There are reports that Liverpool have been linked to possibly bring in the player. Georgia just saw an exit from the tournament, so maybe things can start to get moving a little bit easier or a little bit more get a little bit more pace if there is going to be a move for him. I don't know what number is going to make Napoli jump at trying to get him across. Is there a number that you think, Lee, that you like, that you would say, hey, you know what, I could, that's the number that I would go up to in trying to acquire KK?
Not really. It's a lot of money. It's going to be a lot of money. So I've never really thought of what the exact figure would be. It'd be about 120 million, wouldn't it?
He has no release clause. So
No.
And he's got 4 years left on his deal, and he is, as far as 2027, he's 22 years old. And what's kind of interesting is he is reportedly only making 29,000 a week. 29,000 euros a week is what his current deal is.
Oh
yeah. Well, they signed him. That's what they signed him from. You know, that was big money for him. They signed him from a tiny team.
But he had a good season last year, and he's having a continued.
No, but when they signed him, just quickly, that's the deal they signed him on. He hasn't signed a new contract since he joined.
I'm not disputing that.
No, but
but doesn't mean that you don't.
No, just quickly.
Ask for a bump in salary, certainly.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah.
He's come. Look, that was the contract they signed him on. So they've come out now, and he said he wanted to leave before the Euros.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is De Laurentiis you're dealing with, so that's worse than any release clause. So he came out and said, "We're not doing this." It was a big hoo-ha, and then Kvaratskhelia turns around and says, "No, it's fine. I'm going to stay." De Laurentiis comes out and says, "It's all sorted." He's going to say he's not going anywhere, and we're giving him a new contract. So it looks like Osimhen is going to be their big sale, because he's definitely going. So it looks like they've sat him down and said, "Look, you're not going anywhere. You kick up all the stink you want. We're not selling you, but obviously you're getting a new deal. Okay, cool. 29 grand a week. You're worth more than that now, but we're not selling you. So put out your statement, and you can get your move next season. But this season it's Osimhen." And they won't even bump it. They're not going to bump into 300 or anything. But they'll have said to him, "Look, we'll give you more money for another year, and you'll get yours. We'll let you go."
He has to make 160,000.
They'll give him a nice bump up, but he will be told
that's a healthy bump up if you go from 30,000, basically 30,000 euros to,
the main thing for him though will be the guarantee almost that next season, if a bid of in excess of 100 comes in, that gets locked in. You lock that into the contract, so that next season, any club that bids more than X amount of money,
you get a release clause.
Then you can leave.
Right.
But because they're saying that basically what they're saying to him is, "Look, we're not selling you and Victor Osimhen in the same summer, and he's been here longer and he's been wanting to go, so he's going this year. Next year it can be you. You know, we did you, we brought you to the club, we made you the player you are. All of that at Napoli, you won the league with us. You show loyalty to us, we show loyalty to you. But just wait a year, 12 months." But like Lee said, they all had a poor year this year at Napoli. But he's just kicked off a little bit at the end of the Euros there. If he has another good season and they do well again, he is 120, 250. He's huge. He's Musiala money. So
no, I get that.
Yeah, he's going to be real difficult. I'd snap him up all day, but yeah, big money.
There's only so many players that we can make big acquisitions for, obviously. But some of those names tend to.
Would you take him over Musiala? Quick question to the chat. Would you take Kvaratskhelia over Musiala, or would you take Musiala over Kvaratskhelia? Quick question to anyone in the chat. Who would you go for? If they were both 120 and we had 120 to spend, and we were happy to do it, and they both wanted to join, who are you signing the check for? Who is your guy?
Musiala for me.
Because they're very similar, really, as well. They are really, really similar players, like dribblers, attacking midfielders. So
Yeah.
you're going for Musiala?
I would go for
He's
Musiala.
going Musiala. Homegrown, of course, yeah, homegrown.
Yeah.
That's it. He'd have a better chance of succeeding, wouldn't he? Kvaratskhelia, I mean, players from them countries like Georgia, Ukraine, Moldova, none of them have ever done much. There was Georgie Kinkladze from Georgia,
What a
wasn't
player.
there?
What a player.
Yeah. So he did well, yeah.
Yeah, and that's not a knock against KK, by the way. That's not I think he's a talented player.
Oh, we know. Yeah. No,
that
it's just that you had your choice. You have to pick one, so you got to go with one. You take both, but like, yeah, but you're talking quarter of a
they're
billion.
saying
When you look at Mudryk,
yeah,
where was
Musiala, just as Richard just said, he can play left wing and number 10 though.
Who did Chelsea buy Mudryk
Go ahead,
off?
Lee.
Shakhtar.
Buy Mudryk off?
Mhm.
Shakhtar,
yeah.
For like, what was it, £90 million? Yeah. As well.
That's just going in on a player that is social media buzz. But again, KK can play left mid, left wing, attacking mid, striker. He's got an 88 million euro market value as being reported. And we all know that he's got pace. We all know that he's a good shooter. He's a talent, definitely a talent. And has shown as much in this tournament. But I would still go Musiala over KK.
I don't think Dustin read the question properly. But I like it though. I love it. Yeah, verse. Okay, cool.
I like it.
Who do you want?
The next group of players are all from Portugal that I have on my list. They're the last players I'm going to bring up here. The last three players that I have on my list are Inacio, Pedro Neto, and the third is João Neves. We could take him in that order as well. For if you were looking at those three players, who would you prioritize out of those three players from Portugal? In that being again João Neves, Inacio. I know they all play different positions, but I'm saying rating them against your priority in that position, your priority in the player's talent. Use your own metrics. But Inacio, Neves, or Neto. What are the three players? What are the rankings that you would give for those three players, Lee? Who are you going for first, and then second, or then third?
I'd have Inacio third, Neves second, and I think last. The player it was
Neto.
Neto at first. Okay.
Yeah, it's Neto. I'd have as my third pick because of his injury record. I'd go for Inacio to start with because I like him from what I know of him, and we need a player in that position. João Neves sounds good as well. Could be excellent, but yeah, I'm not as hot on Neto because his injury record's like awful. He's just never fit, ever. In the Premier League, he spent more time on the treatment table than he has on the pitch by at least a double. So, like, he's probably missed about 2/3 of the games and played in 1/3 of the games he's been there for. I would say that's just my guess of what his percentage of appearances would be compared to how many games he's been there for.
No, he got a big one last year. He got a big injury last season.
Yeah, not the first one.
Yeah, well, yeah, not the first one. I think he'd done the same thing twice, but he looked
cracking player.
Oh,
Yeah.
phenomenal! When he was on the pitch, I think he was creating
Phenomenal player
uh,
on the pitch.
a
Yeah,
dribbler, a man. He can beat people. He can create chances. Repeat.
and had a
Run.
good year last year too. Even with
Yeah,
the injury, still had a good year last year.
I had him in my fantasy football team at the start of the season, and I brought him in for a kind of a 1 week thing where I was going to bring in a player for a certain game, and then I was waiting to move someone, and he was the guy who was going to move on, and he just kept scoring goal, assist, goal, assist, goal, assist. Every second or third game, he was getting him. Every second game, or even every game, he was getting involved in goals. So I didn't sell the guy. I didn't move him out of my team until he got injured.
Hmm.
Like the plan was, oh, I'll get him in for a couple of games and then I'll get rid of him. And he just kept popping off, beating people for fun, creating chances, people scoring goals. Really fabulous little player. But like Lee says, you, when you've done it two or three, I think he's had two big injuries.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is a gamble. Every player is a gamble, but even
Yeah,
buying
and
a
he's
fully
not
fit,
exactly. Yeah,
a guy who's
We
never
got
been injured is a gamble,
that.
but a guy who's been injured lots.
Yeah.
24 years old. 24 years old.
I like him though.
But
Again,
phenomenal player, and also just like you said, could be an answer for our right wing needs because he does play right wing. That's his primary position, or his preferred position is right wing. Plays right mid, plays left mid, plays left wing, plays attacking mid. Could even play striker if you necessarily needed him there. Talented player, very talented player. I would love to see him be a part of this club, I don't necessarily see him as if he wanted because of his injuries and everything. You'd have to probably keep a little bit of a governor on how much you utilize his play, but I think that he'd be a phenomenal player and talent, offensive juggernaut for us as well. But I don't know if we go for him. It depends on what do you think. What do you think? They have him as a 40 million. I have him as a 40 million euro evaluation. I don't know. I'd have to look up to see what he's actually been, what they're looking at. Let me see if I don't believe he has a release clause either in this deal.
I ideally it doesn't work like this, but ideally I'd like to see him do another now do an injury-free season at Wolves in the Premier League.
Yeah,
That's
this is
just
it.
for your kind of peace of mind. That's what you'd like to see, and then go,
Yeah.
yeah, the guy's, but he's fully fit. There's no recurring
Right.
kind of problems from it. He's cool. He's done. Yeah, he can look. He can get run over by a bus tomorrow. Okay, we all can. So, but you've seen him do 12 months,
Right.
injury free, rock solid. But then is he? Then is he going to Real Madrid for 100 million? Who knows? But yeah, like you said earlier on, you can't buy them all. So do you buy the guy like Nico Williams with a phenomenal injury record, as in barely missed the game in I think 3 seasons, 4, or a guy with a bad injury record for the same price? You hedge your bets and you go with the proven fit guy, and he's the guy who gets run over by a bus, of course. But there you go.
The thing with Neto is his injury records that shockingly poor since he came to the Premier League that Wolves couldn't realistically ask for very much money for him because he know that people know that, you know what I mean? You can't buy a player like that, like for big money, and nobody does and nobody will. It's just not going to happen. It's not like he's Thiago, and he's 30 and been around forever and well known, brilliant, you know what I mean? He's a young guy with a terrible injury record. That's it, like.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right about that. And that it is a little bit. He certainly has Thiago style abilities or talents in that he is a creative player on the ball. But you're right about the fact that he being 24, at least there is a little bit of hope that he could get if he could get a year in, as Brian
Oh
suggested.
yeah,
You would be like a little bit peace of mind, as he said also. to think that maybe the injuries are behind him and moving forward. Obviously, every player can get injured, like you said, but it'd be nice to see him get behind him. How about though for even though again I gave you the market value for the player being what it would be like 40, probably like 60 million. I think that the number that I saw reported that they wanted to move on him was Pedro Neto. Wolves are trying to get 60 million. If you're going to go a little bit higher, you could possibly get a João Neves. I think Ignacio might be in that ballpark. He really hasn't hit the ground running. Ignacio, it's a lot of it has definitely. How can you even put it? Like it's definitely simmered with Ignacio and the renown that he was getting. But is that another player that you'd be all in on, considering that Ignacio does answer a position that we are heavily, at least some of us believe, is a heavy interest for us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's key, isn't it, that we buy players in the positions that we most need, and one of the most aching needs is for a new centre half to replace Matip, and if that's a left-footed guy, then yeah, that's great. If it's a right-footed guy, it's great too. But whichever one. He could be a partner for Virgil, maybe with Virgil at the right centre back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're looking at 51 million pounds is reported to be Ignacio's release clause. They just re-signed him, but that is reported to be his new release clause is 51 million. As of June 4th, that was the report that I saw.
Well, the name's been out there a lot, hasn't it? The name has been out there since the early last summer. Again, people were saying he was done deal. Portuguese centre half. Not someone I'm going to watch, not someone I'm going to see, but is it just an old rumor or is it still a live rumor? I don't know. But like Lee said, to me, the name isn't really important. It's just really that when we just say we, blue pill style, we take the pill and we wake up the day after the transfer window has closed and we've signed a centre half and a DM, then we that should be, okay, we'll find out who they were later on, but we just want to know that we've got a new centre half and we've got a DM. Okay, who did we get? Right. Then we can talk about it, but yeah, they're done, locked down. Two most important things. And then did we get any gravy? Did we get some gravy? Yeah, we got some gravy. We got a winger. We got a striker. We got an attacker. Something like that. Yeah. But yeah, definitely you lock those two most important things down. Centre half, DM, and someone of the profile of these guys. And I think it should be doable for around a number of around 100 million. I think 50 ballpark for each. We don't have to go and get ripped off in the market and spend Saicedo money, like last time or whatever. It's not going to take an enormous investment. So I think that should leave some money over for, potentially that gravy that I'm talking about, especially if you sell wisely. A couple of guys go out the door and before you know it, there's an extra 70 million in the kitty. Kelleher, Simicas, Nat Phillips, Sepp van den Berg, and some other guy we've forgotten that we even own for 8 million. Next thing you know, topped it up by 70. Okay, off you go. Do that. Get that guy. I can see that being the kind of window, hopefully, that we have, especially with Edwards back in charge now. It'll be sleek. It'll be targeted. It won't be messy. It won't be scrambling around for players. It'll be just bang, bang, bang. There'll be names thrown around everywhere, but we'll just get that guy, and get that guy. And then you just hope that players who want to leave get the moves they want. They get to go to decent clubs and everyone's happy. That's a perfect summer.
Yeah.
That's a perfect summer. You're not going to get one. Maybe we miss out on a target or maybe we miss out on a guy. But,
yeah, well, you certainly will.
We live with it and, and you move on.
Yeah, you move on. You live
So
with it. You
something
yeah.
close to that would be good though. Something close to that. The guys that we don't need slash want or slash want to leave, they all get to go. We bring in nice money for them. The
Yeah.
Simicasses and the Sepp Van den Bergs of this world and the Kelleher's. Everyone's happy. They get to move to a nice club where they play, and we get nice money in the door. That's nice. It's nice, smooth, clean business,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't be that. It's not that hard to do. Don't be a Chelsea. You
No,
know.
no. That's certainly true. Yeah, I was going to say there are some reports. Yeah, I put it in there actually on João Neves, for instance. João Neves has just resigned last summer a new contract with Benfica until 2028. If there was ever a time to we should have acted last year, but we didn't, because now that he's resigned this new deal, his release clause has gone from 60 million euros to 120 million euros. Obviously, just because a release clause is there doesn't mean that that's the end all be all, and that's where you start with the price. But that's if you don't want to deal with negotiations. You just want to try to like go in there and say, I want this player. This is the player. This is the price you set. Let's just get it done. But you can obviously get him for less than 120 million euros. Is that a player? Is that a player maybe, Lee, that you would be interested in going in on and breaking the bank in what would be our first 100 million, pound player to be brought into the club, and it'd be João Neves? Would you be okay with that?
Possibly, yeah. If he's as good as he sounds, I'm not that familiar with him. Like I've seen a bit of him, but not much.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's good as he sounds, then yeah, why not? I mean, getting a great midfielder is always good news, isn't it? Like, especially we have been wanting to really expand. Well, yeah, I suppose we have. We've been wanting to splash out on a good midfielder for a while, and it'd be nice if they finally did.
Yeah, João Neves looks good. He does, Dustin. How about for you, Irishman?
Can't really talk on him enough to say we should do it or don't do it. Yeah, it just heard really good little player, but quite young, quite inexperienced. Not the profile I would want to bring in. A player, okay, if everyone says he's amazing and brilliant, cool, sign him, but a little bit too young and inexperienced. I just want someone in the kind of the mid-range, kind of more of a Goldilocks type thing. I think he's too young, Endo is too old.
Right.
Just get something in the middle kind of thing. 24, or someone's going to tell me now, Sean, that he's 25. Maybe, I don't know. But I think he's like some new wonder kid, right?
Right.
I don't know. But just someone that ideally, and it's not going to, but ideally maybe has already shown it in the Premier League. Now, I think Bruno Guimaraes, I think, and all that, I don't know, is he a little bit too offensive for what we need? He's not.
Bruno. Yeah.
He's he's not an out and out, I'm not going down the
he's not an out and out destroyer. He's not at all.
Yeah.
And he likes to go forward.
Yeah, he's a holder, is he kind of that guy that you need to be like the Mascherano role? You bring in a 25-year-old
I don't think he's going to be that fab, anchor.
No, I don't think, he seems to be a little bit more, he's not quite a Paqueta. He's not a Fabinho. He's in the middle, I think. So great, wonderful footballer. But I don't think he's the profile we'd be going for. I don't know. Yeah, I think there's just a guy out there. Who we don't really know that much about, and you can get him for 30 or 40 million, and he's like Ghanaian or something like that, and he plays for Feyenoord he plays for something like that. Go out and get that guy. The next Kante type player or something like that, and then we have all our creative players around. We've got an Endo and a new Endo type, lots of energy, tough tackling, win the ball, give it to the better players around you. Simple. The whole midfielder you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just going to add to what you're saying is that I think that João Neves, a lot of what you get from João Neves, we already possibly have in Besiktas. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to see that on display because of his injuries. But I think that's
Yeah, we
truly
should.
what we have.
I'd like to see
Yeah.
a lot more of him.
Same here. I really hope that his injury thing is behind him next season, and he can just,
Yeah.
he can have a few weeks out, like whatever, like. But as long as he's not out for months on end, like, I'll be happy because I want to see his development because he looks so good in a poor season, which was the season where we finished out the Champions League
Mhm.
place. Poor season, he was the one bright spot, I'd say. Whereas Jarrell was last season's bright spot as a youth player. The season before it was Bashesic. And I can't wait to see more of him, like, and I just hope I do. And I hope he can fulfill some of his promise, if not all of his promise, but if he can just fulfill some of it next season, I'd be happy because he looks some player, that lad. He really does. He looks some player
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah. I agree. Carlos Baleba for Brighton is a talented player, but again, 20 years old, but Brighton did just make a big deal. So I don't know if they're going to be making. I don't know if they're going to be making that deal or be interested in making a deal for him or not. Young, talented Cameroon. That's as you're saying, Cameroonian, type player. That is a very good talent. 83rd minute, by the way, still 0-0 in this Portugal-Slovenia game.
I know these guys.
Look, I know that there was. I know that Lau just came off, and I believe that Diego just came on for him. And then also they are looking at a Slovenia side that has made 2 adjustments as well. But both teams are holding their own right now, currently. Both teams are definitely holding their own. Let me see the details here again. It's been primarily Portugal not being able to really do much. They've had 12 shots to their 5, but they've only had to force one save by Portugal and 2 saves by Slovenia so far. So not exactly offensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he showed himself to be quite stubborn against England, didn't he? Like, getting that 0-0.
A good team. Jan Oblak. Jan Oblak in goal. He's one of the best in the world over the last 10 years. That even when you do get through on goal, you got a top quality keeper to beat. So that can help you in terms. And like that you just said there, they've only 2 on target. Like you're not going to beat. There's no bad keepers in this tournament now. The level is that good. There's no jokes. Like, but this guy is. This is why they're in that round as well. Portugal are always one of those teams who, with all the talent they have, I've seen them put in more 0-0s, I think, than anyone else. Like you watch them, you've got nothing else on, and there's a game on, and it's like, oh, who's playing? It's Portugal against something. You go, oh, that'll be a good game. They've got Quaresma and Ronaldo and all these guys, and you watch them, and they're just awful. They are they have an ability to pull out those kind of games so often. You're just looking at the names, Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, all these guys, and they they can be stopped so much. They're kind of like England sometimes. They just don't look like they know what to do. But like you look at the names on the back of the shirt, it's like, well, he plays for City, he plays for AC Milan, he plays for Barcelona.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I was just responding to some of the chat here. That's all basically saying what we're all saying is that we definitely DM and obviously center back, but DM maybe even more so is a position that we'd like to see solidified and figured out what we're going to do with that position. That means,
okay, I have an interesting question. Because we're all talking about this. Okay. If we were going to buy a DM and you could only buy a player that played in the Premier League last season, who would you be going for?
Say the question in full again.
If we were going to buy a DM, right,
Mhm.
this summer, but we could only buy a player that played in the Premier League last season, who would you be going for? So it's not a trick question or a quiz
I
question.
mean,
It's like
yeah. I mean, obviously, let's eliminate Rodri. I know Richard just answered Rodri, but obviously that's the obvious answer. He's the top of the. He's right now at the top of the food chain when it comes to DMs, especially in the world, but especially in the Prem.
Yeah, I was going to add caveats like, must be realistic yet, but I wouldn't want to go on about it all night. So I just kind of, who, again, I was kind of assuming people would be like, well, I wouldn't be able to get him. So,
Mm-hmm.
Like Caicedo just went to Chelsea, so we're probably not going to get him. So if there was someone out there, who would you be going for? You don't have to say someone, but if there was someone.
I still like Palina in the Premier League. There was also the link with Decore of Palace before he got injured. But yeah, I like Palina still.
I think Paulinho is too.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, Paulinho, but I just think that Paulinho for me is a little bit too old for what I would want to try to put as a cornerstone for my team going forward. I'm not saying he's he's on the verge of retiring or something like that, but I just, for what you get, if you look at numbers, for instance, if you look at Endo's numbers versus Paulinho's numbers, they're very, very comparable. So I wouldn't have put him in as being one of my top choices. I don't think there is a name out there. I'm not a big fan of Thomas Partey. He's a player that's good, but I wouldn't.
He likes the Partey.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him out there.
Too old to build a team around. Edson Alvarez is a good shout. Dustin said no one. Tarmizi, Edson Alvarez, I think, is a brilliant shout. I think he would be a kind of guy who he could be playing for like one of the best teams in the world, and you wouldn't even really know it. It'd be just like that guy who just starts for one of them. I think he's kind of at that level. They were lucky to get him, but everyone there just talks about Kudus and Paqueta. But Alvarez, I wouldn't be surprised if in 2 years he's playing for Barca, Madrid, Bayern, something like that. But there was another shout there for someone. I missed it, but that's the thing. I don't think there's.
Onana was a shout. Decore was a Norm shout at Palace.
Oh yeah, Norm. I hope you didn't. Norm, we missed it. He's back because he went to karate practice. So I hope you didn't hurt anybody, Norm. I hope everybody survived. I hope you left people, able to go home to their wives and families in the conditions that they met you. I hope you hold back on them. Decore. He likes Decore.
Yeah. The other names on there was João Gomez from the Wolves. That's why Richard just brought up a name I was going to bring up. Basuma could be a shout. Onana was put out there, and Richard also said Rice. Okay. I don't know if Rice.
Everton's Onana's a good player.
I know. I don't know. I like him when I saw him, but he's a bit raggedy.
It's never
a bit raggedy.
Yeah.
It costs a fortune. It'd be a nightmare trying to get it done, like when being an Everton player.
The guy I really like is Bentancur at Tottenham, but he doesn't have a great fitness record. But I think he's a very similar play style to Bajcetic. Uruguayan kind of DM. I really, really like him as a player. But he comes in, he looks great, and then he's like out for 6
I wanted to, a player I actually am intrigued and interested. He's not necessarily an outright DM. He's not a destroyer or anything like that per se. But I just, I do like the way that they are able to play the pivot for Argentina, and that is Enzo isn't that bad of a player. I don't think he's really made that declaration of saying he's worth 100 whatever million plus that he was bought for by Chelsea. You know,
Think you
I
can get
don't
him?
think that he's really necessarily Casado and him don't necessarily make you go, oh, you know, that's the lockdown, you know, DM pivot. Go ahead.
Do you think we could get him?
I think there's always a chance. I'm not
Always,
saying that.
yeah, never say never. Always, yeah, never say
Yes,
never
there's
is
a
one of the
chance.
mottos of the channel. Yeah, never say never. But
with them having the sheer fact that Chelsea has been in such turmoil for so many years, the sheer point that they're once again not going to be in Champions League, the sheer point that we do have connections, we do have some ties that could possibly influence him into thinking about pushing for a move. And the overall point that I would think of is that, yeah, he's just not necessarily fitting in with Chelsea. And for me, I think that it would be a great move for him if he were to just take a
link up with
page out
McAllister.
of Kai Havertz's book and say, hey, maybe I don't have to necessarily leave the Premier League. I want to make let me go to another club and make a real testament that I am a real bona fide player. I get that he already probably thinks that. He probably knows that the whole nine. You know, obviously does well with Argentina, but bring him to a Liverpool, put him next to a Maka, a natural fit for him again. I'd love to see that. I think that would be phenomenal to see. But that's just me.
No, Chelsea will do. But it's just like getting him out. You know, it's that because he signed one of those like 10-year deals. But they'll trade. They will, and they won't mind it if a player. I think Guardiola kind of tried to do this kind of thing at Man City, saying it doesn't really matter. It's sort of a power move where they're trying to be pretending to be all like nicey nice, where they're saying he said like it doesn't matter if even if Lionel Messi came to my door and said I wanted to leave, you know, we'd make it as easy for them to leave as possible. You know, they're trying to say like, no, that's the kind of club we are. You know, we're cool. We're not going to stand in your way. But what they're kind of saying is, we're bigger than everybody. We don't care. You want to go, you're gone, you're out. You know, and they don't do the overpaying for thing. So Chelsea have a little bit also a history of spending huge money on players and it being a mistake and selling them.
By the way,
so it's not out of this world to suggest that we could get him. It's it's not out of this world crazy to suggest that they could go, didn't quite work. Great player, he wants to leave. It's not out of this world to suggest it. I don't. But the one that I forgot actually is I don't know, but no, I think I do now. Boubacar Kamara, the DM that they brought in at Villa. On 22. Great player. Great player.
Enzo does have one of those like death row contracts. He does have 8 years left on his contract.
Yes. Yeah, longer than fucking
He's making crazy money for it. Pulls in 180,000 pounds a week. I just see it as, is he 180,000 pound a week player at the current level and production you're getting from him? Not even close.
6 months at Benfica, dude. Like Benfica get him from South America for like 6 or 10 million or something in the summer, and by Christmas time, Chelsea have decided he's now worth 105. Benfica are like, what? Have we just woken up some weird Christmas fever dream or something? Like ringing up. I just had a mad dream last night, man. That we got an email from Chelsea offering us 100 million for Fernandes. Like, no, that's happened.
For real. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Done.
£90 million profit in about 4 minutes. Yeah. Nice. Even by
nice bit of
Benfica
business there.
standards, that is good business.
Yep, extra time, by the way, extra time in the Portugal game. They do, Richard. They do. Portugal goes heavy into the South American market, and they just as and it pays off for them very well. Also, I was going to bring
There's
up
only
these two
two,
questions.
but no, quickly to that, Richard. And I know some people like to dismiss this as well, but there are only two countries in the world that speak Portuguese: Portugal and Brazil.
Yeah,
That makes some things a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
It makes moving from Brazil to Portugal as a 16, 17-year-old way easier. These are the cultural lines that run through all these boys,
Mm-hmm.
but they go there, they know the market, and they have a history of it. If you look at the world's most profitable football clubs over the last 20 years, just look at the amount of money Benfica have made. It's ridiculous because they buy £3 million Guillermo Diaz. 2 years
Mm-hmm.
later, 100 million to Real Madrid. They've been doing that shit for 20 years, man.
Mm-hmm.
They are like a proper production line almost for these boys.
Yeah, there are some countries in Africa too, though. But
sorry, of course, yeah, no,
but,
yeah, sorry, yes, sorry, yeah. What you the Angola?
Because Portugal was a part of that
where it's the only
colonialism.
Yeah, Angola,
Angola,
I think
yep.
Mozambique,
Angola, yep. Mozambique, yep.
And somewhere else,
and
but
Equatorial
Guinea. Yeah, but I mean, in terms of it's the only language.
Yeah,
I mean,
in those countries they have
they have other languages as well. Yeah,
other languages, a lot of majority.
And not to suggest, and I know Brazil is so big that I'm fully aware that
it does bleed out.
People,
it bleeds out into other countries. Yeah,
they speak a different type of language. Like in some parts of Brazil, the dialects are different as well. Like the Portuguese that people speak in Lisbon is not the same as the Portuguese that people speak in, rural parts of Brazil. Definitely not.
Yeah.
It's very, very different. So
I have two questions for you guys too. Go ahead, Lee, and then I have two questions for the panel.
Is it all right if I took out early tonight?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah. No problem.
The vision I had before with my contacts is giving me the effect.
Yeah, you look uncomfortable all night, man. No, I've been noticing that, man. You look like you've been rubbing your eyes
you look like you're a little in pain with your flutter and all that.
I feel a bit ropey inside and my head's a bit sore. I want to just hit the
side.
No.
Yeah, you go ahead, man. You go ahead. We'll talk soon.
Link for tomorrow, and I'll come on tomorrow. It should be all right.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully it'll be for some. I'll be in good night. Hopefully I'll be in good spirits tomorrow. How about that?
It's staring at the screen as well, Lee. You see, you're staring at screens as well, like
bloody contacts. But even when I replaced the right hand one, it was still blurry. It's as if there's something wrong with my head tonight, or something like my eyes and that. Like, but anyway, I got it sorted. But
get it sorted. Cheers. Hope you feel better, brother, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Sure. Cheers, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Take it easy, man.
Quick question for you, Brian.
Dim the lights, Lee. Dim the lights, man.
Yeah. Quick question from M. Tarmizi, and then I have a question also from. I have another question. Well, okay, they're both there's a couple questions. Let me get through these. One question is, what do you think about Adam Wharton, and also been hearing of Archie Gray from Leeds as another talent, big move to Prem pending. What do you think about those two players from Leeds? And then there's another question.
Well, this Wharton guy came out of nowhere.
In the lobby. I have a lobby question too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Adam Wharton, someone I had not heard about until about 5 weeks ago. And now he's in the England squad at the Euros. So, what could I say? I really don't know. It looks like a great young talent. Palace have, a history of bringing in good young players, but this guy's star has kind of, shot very quickly. Archie Gray, we had Anton the other night, and we're asking about the best talents in the championship, and I think he had Archie Gray at the top.
Yeah, he did.
Now he had a £35 million move to Brentford that was all lined up and ready to go. That collapsed. Then Tottenham came in, and it looks like he's going to Tottenham.
There is
So
another question.
I don't really know. I'm assuming that was done actually. By the way, to top.
Yeah,
I thought that was a done deal.
I thought that was a done deal too, but I'm not
Yeah,
certain.
yeah.
Yeah, they says question mark on Wharton on England squad. They should have taken him. Taken Ward Price instead. That's an interesting take, Richard.
Well, if you're not going to play somebody, like
yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I think sometimes you're probably bringing some of those younger players, even though you don't intend on, or you probably don't intend on playing them, or they shouldn't be looking to get playing time. Most likely, it's the experience of being in the camp and getting involved with the coach and the players that is more likely the idea or the ideal situation with a lot of young players, as opposed to bringing a more long in the tooth player in Ward Price that doesn't exactly isn't probably going to see any playing time either. Really, that's my opinion. At least
well, in the knockouts,
yeah,
you're hoping for a dead rubber group game where you're already qualified and you can bring a few kids in, or what you can do whatever. But when you're in the knockout rounds, it's going. Yeah, he's not going to be. Oh, I'll give the young lad a game. It's going to be whatever tried and trusted players he has.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the likes of him, he might get 5 minutes in a game if he's lucky. So
Mm-hmm.
unless he goes for but again, Wharton, Tarmizi, everything I've read about him, everything I've seen about him is all massively encouraging to the kind of player he is. But again, I'm not going to lie and said I knew who he was more than a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Thing he comes in, what's his name, Glasner at Palace,
Mm-hmm.
starts turning their form around.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's paying attention to Elise and Eze, and this guy, probably Palace fans obviously would be like, Adam Wharton, what a player.
Mm-hmm.
Deserves to get called up, but obviously all the focus would have been on the Ezes and Elise's scoring goals. Mateta even started scoring goals. But yeah, the kid is totally he's come out of nowhere. He's totally come out of nowhere.
Yeah. He says, I'm looking what Honesty said. He says, no one speaks bad about Ugarte, Valverde, Kimmich, or Musiala, but if Ugarte goes to Man U, then it's flip the bird to Ugarte. I got you, brother. I got you. I just don't know about. I know Ugarte was like very heavily rated. I'm just dealing with the question from Honesty.
But he went to PSG, right?
But he went to PSG, and he just kind of didn't really do much at PSG in a league that he probably could have, where a lot of players are making noticeable, very noticeable presences for that league. We're more bullish on trying to go for Euro, for instance, than we are Ugarte, who we had the opportunity to go for. And I know that PSG is a unique team in that they're doing a different scenario with their approach towards the players they're trying to keep on. But I don't know what Ugarte's possible connections are. But it's not a player that I'd be angry if we ended up getting. I'm just saying I'm 50-50. I'm just like, will I be chest falling if we don't get him or we don't go in for Ugarte? No. But will I be optimistic if we get Ugarte? Absolutely. I definitely would be interested to see where we go with it and how he does with this team. There was another question for you that I wanted to bring to your attention. Let me see if I can find it again. I got the question about, that is interesting that France has reached the next round of Euros without scoring a goal from open play. That is pretty interesting.
Well, they did tonight. I know it was an OG, but it was, yeah.
They haven't scored. France hasn't scored, so I can get that.
Well, no, I know it goes that. No, they did score kind of from he did force that OG tonight.
Oh, the question here was from Norm originally. This is what I wanted to bring up to you. He says, or it was from Norm. Norm and actually Dustin were both talking about it. Would you still take a fit Lavia? I think the problem is that he wasn't fit and he was out for the majority of last year, which is like not a good sign for a player that I didn't heavily rate. Like I didn't rate as heavily as Chelsea thought he was. I don't understand why Chelsea went in so definitively for him the way they did. I was more into the price evaluation of what Liverpool put on there.
Kind of smelled a bit of stopping us getting them, to be honest, but I don't know. They used to do that in the past. They used to do that. I'm not entirely, but I think it was not so much maybe stopping us getting him, but stopping him going to another club. That really did smell it. They didn't need him. They just straight up didn't need him. It really stank. It reminded me back like when we were trying to buy a winger and they bought the two guys we were trying to buy, and then we went for Christian Atsu and they bought him as well. It's just like, okay, I really don't know. He should never, like, there's a couple of people that you're like this again with this Dewsbury Hall guy.
What
the hell? Like, are these guys not watching what, like, again, who am I to say to anybody, oh, you should turn down Chelsea? You know, I'd love to be good enough to be offered.
He's a homegrown. He's a homegrown player, though, right?
Yeah, but what does he think's going to happen? Like, are these guys not looking at these clubs and go, that's a dumpster fire? But obviously, like I said, I would love to be in a position for a Premier League club, even if they were Chelsea, to offer me $100,000 a week to play football. I'm not going to tell him he shouldn't sign for Chelsea. But okay, cool. You really must be backing yourself if you haven't watched that club and seeing what happens to pretty much everyone else that goes there. But yeah, cool. You go there, like. But we all know he's going to be playing for Wolves or Brentford in about 2 years.
Yeah. The PSV comment. I have two things about two teams as well. One about Turkish team, and I'll comment on this from honesty. I can understand. He said breaking news: PSV are interested in Liverpool defender Sepp Vandenberg, but are unable to reach the asking price of £20 million. Yeah. I think more likely that they can put £20 million together. PSV is not. I mean, they just got a bag from us for when we brought in Cody. They have money to spend. It's just more so, is this player at that price evaluation for them? And again, I just think that they don't see it. I don't see what's the big difference. He's definitely a £15 million player. I would certainly say that, and if they can't come up with another $5 million for that evaluation, that's just saying that, hey, I guess you're not that interested. You can say you're interested in him, but obviously you're not that interested in him, because if $5 million is the breaking point on a player that you say that you want to bring on, a player that's young, a player that has started to really make some real traction in the Bundesliga, which is a better league, personally, I think, than the Dutch league, then yeah, get your paper up or keep it moving. That's as best I can say.
I think they're not going to be the first to pay the price we want. They're not, like you said earlier on, you start high, we start low, you meet in the middle.
Yeah.
They're not going to go, okay, 20, that we're going to pay that.
Yeah.
I would, like, I'd be having him at 12 to 15. That's what you'd be saying as a club. Like,
yeah.
But
if you really like the player, you go up to 20.
No, well, I'm saying, they can like
sure.
him. They don't have to, but that's what they like. We can say 20. If we start at 20, then obviously we're going to accept less.
Right.
Again, I don't really mind how well he's done in the league. He's a guy that's never played for us at all, so we can't go around saying, "Oh, he's done this, he's done that." He's a good player, but yeah, that's like we did a little bit with Nat Phillips, where we kind of overpriced him, and Bournemouth walked away, and he ended up stuck at Liverpool. So sometimes, yeah, if we want to get rid of a player, don't Habble scrabble over 2 million. Just get the player out, let him go, let him make a move and get the money in. But anywhere between 12 to 18 million should do. Sepp van den Berg price wise, that should be fine. And most clubs, like you say, if they're that interested in a guy like that in today's market, you're not going to get him for 8 or 9. So yeah, put up the 18 to 20, or 15 to 18 million.
Yeah,
and we'll be happy. We want 20. We'll settle.
we want
for
20, but if you said 18, then
18
we feel
cash.
like,
Boom. Let's go.
I'm sure
Let's work.
we wouldn't quabble over 2 million.
Or 2 million, exactly. For a kid that doesn't play for it, get it done.
Exactly.
That's 18 million quid.
For a
That's
kid that
nice
wants
wedge.
out, for a kid that wants
He
out,
cost
for a
us
kid
2.5 million.
well, yeah, not gonna quabble.
He cost us 2.5 million.
5 million is a different story. 5 million is a different story.
He cost us 2.5 million, so that's a 16 million pound profit on a guy that's nice. Let him go to and that's a good club for him, so he should be happy. So, like I say earlier on, smooth, clean business,
Yeah. I was gonna say we need to do one of these things for Copa. Copa game is going to be coming up later on this evening. About 4
I asked
hours.
Quasi earlier on about any Copa players catch his eye, and he was struggling to name one. I was saying any, apart from the obvious, any Copa players. He was saying Euros is kind of taken over, but
no, I definitely have some players that I would look. I mean, Mtar Mizzi brought up some names earlier, actually, that I would love to see. Not necessarily ones that are all playing in Copa at the moment, but I know that he did bring up Redondo. He brought up him from Argentina. He's a player that I've mentioned before, and a player that I would like. He's a DM as well. He's playing in Inter. He's playing for Inter Miami right now. The reasoning I gave for that would probably be, obviously, you get the opportunity to play with Messi. You want to definitely get some selection time on a team that has eyes on it, and also you want to have. It doesn't hurt that you're in Miami. If you're talking about FC Cincinnati or or Minnesota or something like that he's playing at, that'd be a different story, in the MLS. But he's playing at a team that does have eyeballs on it. A good majority of people are watching FC or Inter Miami, back home in Argentina simply because Messi plays there. But he also,
right, well, yeah. Well,
and then
not
you also
going to get him a move to this is Redondo's son, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, where was he? He was in Europe, right? And then he went to Miami?
No, I don't think he was in Europe. I believe he was in
Argentina.
Yeah, I think he was playing for Boca, I believe. But I'll double check on that on top of my head, because he was out. He's gotten a move now. He's now playing for he is now playing for Inter Miami. Not on a loan or something, but actually on the actual, Let's double check though.
Penalty Portugal.
What's that?
Portugal.
Yeah, he's got an £8 million evaluation current, £8 million evaluation currently. Oh crap! That's crazy.
Yeah, your guy is.
I'm trying to this update just hit. Yeah, update hit my phone and tell me about Marcelo Bielsa is suspended for the Copa match versus U.S. men's national team.
Yeah. You're a bit. That was announced. Well, I suppose it's the morning there.
Yeah.
That was
my computer's freezing up here.
Announced earlier. Yeah, Ricky Puig or Puig or Ricky Puig or Ricky Puig. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He was a great little talent. So yeah, so Ronaldo's stepping up. He might repay you after all in the fantasy league. Ronaldo about to step up.
Okay.
Penalty, extra time.
Well, waiting for the confirmation on goal or not. Saves it. Oblak saves it.
What
Is
he's
that
doing
is that what
this
has
Superman
happened,
thing.
or is that what's going? That's what you want to hope to happen?
Yeah, I didn't want to spoil it because well, anyway.
He did
Yeah,
save it.
great save. Oh, it was an amazing save. It wasn't a miss. It was an amazing save as well. It wasn't even a bad penalty. It was actually a decent penalty. Yeah, so, well, anyway, yeah, that happened.
That's
Ronaldo
an
missed a
interesting
penalty.
shout. I do remember that player actually. Barcelona.
Ricky Puig, yeah. I was just talking about him. Yeah, Ricky
that's what
Puig
he's talking about. Yeah.
went to MLS.
Yeah. Let me make sure I don't get this thing all like jammed up with like trying to. Second. But Federico Redondo is 21 years old. 1.88 meters, and he is also obviously plays some CM, but also plays DM primarily. He's a good player, very good player.
If he's after, well, the old,
He was
if he's
playing
half
for
the player his dad was,
Argentino
then,
Juniors.
yeah.
He's playing for the Argentinos Juniors in
Yeah,
Argentina.
well, yeah, you'd imagine so. No, I was just saying if he's half the player his dad is, then
then he's worth
like he
going.
won't be. Yeah, he saved it. He pushes it onto the post.
I think he's probably disappointed him. I mean, obviously, he wants to score, obviously. But like,
he's doing his Ronaldo business.
Yeah, Ronaldo is usually himself is that he has such a high level that he always wants to be the man, and not only does he want to be the man,
no. When you look at nowadays, right? When you look up like egotistical in the dictionary, there's a subcategory for Ronaldo now because it's just like there's egotistical and then there's Ronaldo.
Okay.
He is way up. Yeah, he's bawling his eyes out. He's out. He's like everyone are crowding around him, telling him. I mean, come on! Like earlier on, he was about to take the free kick. Before he even took the free kick, he was doing these big like hands to the sky gestures and screaming into the sky, like screaming into the night, going like, "Come on!" Before he even took the free kick, do you remember when Maradona scored that goal? Do you remember? Well, it was way over the top. It's like the most over the top thing you've ever seen. It's like something from like a Rocky movie. It's like no one would do that in real life. It's like, yeah, I get it. It's like, but no, okay, wow, he's actually doing that on the pitch. And now he had his big moment, take the penalty, didn't do it. Yep. Get your head down, man. Don't be crying. Like he made the whole halftime, extra time team talk about everyone consoling him. As opposed to actually listening to the coach about what they're going to do in the second half, because he might have another penalty to take.
Yep.
Like this is going to go. This potentially could go to penalties, and he'll have another penalty to take. So he needs to get his head right.
Yeah.
And stop being
absolutely
picking, all of that stuff.
Drama.
Calm it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's another 15 minutes to play. Game isn't over, and if it goes to penalty shootout again. Are you going to start screaming and roaring? Come on, chill it out. Like, all you have to do is kick the ball in the back of the net. Just relax. It's way over the top.
It was only that easy.
He's looking at.
I was trying to hang out to wait for.
No, I'm not saying it's easy. Put it in the back of the net. I just mean look. Just when you score, just then do your drama stuff. But he's like doing drama before the goal. It's almost like he wants it to be this iconic moment because he knows this is him now. He's nearly 40. He won't play another major tournament.
Oh, he knows everything's on his back. Yeah.
Yeah, this is it now. He won't play another Euros.
He knows every.
No more World Cups. Nothing.
Yeah, every eye possible is looking at him. Definitely. I was going to make one last point here. Like I said, I am trying to hold out to try to get a result to hold out for a result for the
well, you have another 15 minutes to go.
Game here.
Yeah, you've another 15 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So if you want to go with that, but that's it at minimum.
Yeah.
And if it's penalties, you're talking about another probably half an hour.
Yeah, I know. I can't. Yeah, we're coming up on the 3-hour mark and trying to keep our videos to under 3 hours, if not at ideally 90 minutes, but if not to 3 hours is definitely sometimes a little bit long in the tooth, because I know it's hard to keep people's attentions sometimes. But there will be.
Well,
I do have a list. I was going to say I do have a list of players for Copa that we could keep an eye on for Liverpool. So maybe we'll do that for tomorrow's show. We could bring that up. It's not as long of a list.
No trivia. Any random trivia? No.
No random. I
Well,
mean,
we
maybe
can't
I'll if the people want it. I know that people love it, so maybe I will bring that up, a little trivia.
Well, if you want to try and if you're trying, do you want to stay on or you want to cut it off?
Yeah, I'm trying to stay on. I'll try to stay on. Yeah, might as well. As long as it's not too late for you as well.
No, I'm watching the game. Like, I'll be watching the game till it's over.
Okay.
Penalties.
Yeah, we can watch. We can all watch the game together. Yeah, for sure. I was going to say the other name that
honestly, I know, man. Seriously, like,
yeah.
We're talk about, what do the kids call it? Main character syndrome. Like
yeah. That's a. I've heard that terminology before.
Yeah. Main character syndrome.
Yeah. What I was going to say is, let me see if I can get this down here. So there was a surprise report since we're going into extra time here. So you guys are still rocking with us again. Thank you all that have been rocking with us for this 3 hour plus that we're now going into. Big up to each and every one, each and every time, for sure. There was a surprise report out there that kind of, caught my eye. And that is this. So there's reports in Turkey that have claimed that Jose Mourinho is eyeing a big transfer of the year, or the summer, for his new team that he's going to be coaching in Turkey. His team is, how do you say, Fenerbahce, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
They are going to. There has been a bunch of question marks as to who that big name player is going to be, because they have made a transfer offer to the player of Jorge Mendes, who is the manager of Jose Mourinho, and they're looking to replace.
Drum roll, please.
You're looking to replace. I know they're looking to replace the center forward of Batshuayi. Excuse me.
Batshuayi.
Batshuayi. So Batshuayi.
Belgian striker. Yes. He used to fight for Chelsea.
Yep. Former Chelsea player. Yep. So they started negotiations over a potential transfer target, and their transfer target is none other than Darwin Núñez.
There we go.
Darwin Núñez is reportedly going to be a transfer target for Mourinho. He's looking and believing that he can make a difference with Darwin as the centerpiece of his team. I know that Barcelona also has been reported to be a name out there interested in bringing in Núñez, but that if they can't get up the funds to pay for Diaz, who is another name that they're very keen on, I seriously doubt that Núñez is a name that they'll be able to garner the money up for as well. So would you, depending on, I know that they want to obviously make, as they were saying, transfer of the year, or a big transfer of the year for them. I don't know how much I'm going to put any merit or worth into seeing a Turkish squad, tally up, 85, 95 million, 100 million.
No. You can even.
There's no way that we're not selling Darwin.
No, the Turkish
anything under what we
record.
paid for him.
The Turkish record transfer fee is, I'm going to guess, somewhere around 20. So, yeah, the idea that I saw the story and it's one of those things where it falls apart immediately. There's no way that a club like that could pay probably more than £25 million cash for any player, especially for. So then you have to say, okay, Darwin Núñez agrees to go to the Turkish league, and they can also pay him enough. Like, it falls apart instantly. I mean, there's just no way, no world in which anybody reasonable could put together a scenario where that's an actual transfer that could actually happen. Because number one, he just says no. He says no thanks, I'm not going to Turkey. That's your first stumbling block. That's what would be the first thing that would happen. They'd get a call from Fenerbahce. Does Darwin want to play for Darwin or for Fenerbahce? No, he doesn't. Thanks for the interest.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that's the move that he's looking to make as well. You're right. Yeah.
Even if he wanted him, even if he said, look, Liverpool have decided to sell me, they've decided to cut their losses. We can all agree that the last 2 seasons haven't been amazing. I'm going to go somewhere and I'm going to rebuild my career, or not rebuild, but I'm going to do my thing. He's thinking Spain. He's thinking Spain, basically, at worst. He's either saying, he's not, like, in 10 years' time, if you've been a complete flop and a failure, you might end up in Turkey. Not, I mean, he's not going, he's thinking, okay, look, English football doesn't suit me, yada yada, the language, whatever, maybe I'll go to Atletico Madrid and I'll be amazing. He's not thinking, yeah, you know what, I'm done, no point even trying to try anywhere else, I'll just go to Turkey and take the money.
Right.
I can't see it from any level at all. And also the money we want for them or him, no Turkish club has ever come close to paying anything like that kind of money for a player. So it all falls down on every single level. It's one of the worst transfer rumors I've ever heard. That's right up there. You may as well link them to. You may as well have linked him to Blackburn. As it's as like there's more chance of Blackburn being able to afford him than Fenerbahce, and Blackburn can't afford him. But there's more chance of them signing.
I think the largest. Oh,
hang on. Let me guess. I'm going to say. I'm going to call it in Euro. I'm going to say.
Do it in euros.
20. I'm going to call it 18. I'm going to say 18.
18 million euros?
Yeah, I'm going to say 18 is the most a Turkish club has ever paid.
Oh, most a Turkish club. Okay, I can tell you that too. Yeah, you're pretty close. It was 17.05.
Ah, that's spot on. Euros. That's not pretty close. That's spot on, basically. Within,
if this was the Price is Right, you would have unfortunately. You would have forced.
Well, it ain't. It ain't. But come on, that's.
It ain't. Oh wow! Listen to that.
I said 17. Yeah. I said 18 is a Turkish transfer record, which I did not know. I guessed 18, and it's 17.5. You got to give me or 0.5. Okay, but come on.
Yeah, that looks to be the top number they've ever.
And who was that for? And who was that player?
That was for Jardel, center forward.
Oh, Mario Jardel from Porto.
Yes.
Yeah, Mario Jardel. Yes. He went to Galatasaray and scored about 7,000 goals. He was insane, that guy. Jardel is like this guy that nobody remembers. And he had like a scoring, like again.
It's not the reason why Núñez probably does not want to go to Turkey.
Yeah,
this
Jardel.
Exactly what you just said.
Yeah, I think he played a bit in Italy. Maybe he ended up at Bolton as well for a while. But he was, I think, for a while he was sort of like, what's the word? Statistically, the best goal scorer in the world. Like game,
Can you
goals
name?
per
How about
minute.
can you name? Can you name the player? Name the player or the price that is the. Or you can name the player that's extra, but can you name the most that uh, uh, Fenerbahce has ever paid for a player? Can you name the most that they've ever
Oh,
paid for a player for Jose's new team? Yeah, you can guess that. Now that you know 17 is the top, obviously you can go down from there. But
the most Fener ever paid for a player, 8 million for Emre Belzaloglu. Either that or it's Gouler with the money involved. But I'm going to say Emre Belzaloglu, the guy that played for in England, Emre.
who was the second guy? Who was the second guy you said?
Gouler, either that or it's Gouler. The deal for him
No,
is
that's what you said, Emery. No, I meant. Okay. It was 15 million was the number that they spent. 15 million euros, and they spent that on. Let me make sure on Senjigs Under.
Oh, okay.
Senjigs Under.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he plays
he
for
played for a bunch of different teams. Played for Leicester. But also played for AS Roma. Played for
Roma. That's the guy,
Played
yeah.
for Leicester. Played for Marseille. Excuse me.
Marseille.
Played for Roma again. Marseille again. Then
tricky
Roma.
little
Then back to
number
Marseille.
10.
Now has joined. Yes. Yeah. That's the highest. That rumor is very, very. It's a very weird rumor. That's just one of those things where you're just getting out there, like, you might not like Nunez, but I don't think anyone is going to just
get
rid of him for nothing. Okay. So, I mean, some interesting stats for him too. But yes, I do have a list of players that we could look at.
I think the most the Turkish club right now, 22, 20, even, I mean, maybe even 20. I don't know what the scenario is. It's a volatile region. Maybe even 15 is the most any club could pay. So they'd be looking at taking him on loan and paying a lot of his wages and trying to do that. But we're not in the business of doing that. That's not what we need to do. He's staying. We all know that. He's going to be the number 9. He's going to be the figurehead. And he'll get his third season to see if he can gel. And there's absolutely no reason for us to get involved in any kind of Darwin Núñez loaning him out to some other club type nonsense. If someone comes in and says, we'll give you 70 million, and Darwin says, you know what, I wouldn't mind going and trying that, well, then there's a different conversation.
There's a difference. But, that's a different conversation.
At the moment, I don't see us being on the phone to his agent basically saying, get your boy a move. I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's not really on the cards at all. Sesko with a one-on-one chance was really poor. He really should have won the game. They should be through now. Sesko should have just won that game for them.
So two big names. Chance. Name that we actually had on here too, by the way.
Yeah, he just passed it. I mean, he lost it. I mean, I don't blame the kid. His nerves probably got the better of him a little bit in that moment, but he was one-on-one. It was every Slovenian in the world was probably thinking, "Oh my God, we're about to win this game."
Yeah,
and
just like every Portuguese player is thinking, "Oh, we're about to win this game."
Yeah, we're out. But when Ronaldo steps up, yeah, but these boys,
Yeah.
this is going to penalties. This is going to penalties,
This
without
is
a
going
doubt.
to penalties, it looks like.
It's our first penalty shootout of the season, or of
Yeah,
the competition, as it were.
of this competition. Yep. I'm going to make sure I have this on. I'm going to watch this with you guys. So I've been watching it on my phone here, but not. I'm going to go to the big screen here on my phone. I'd rather use it on the phone.
Sorry.
Are they already at? Are they already in penalties right now?
No, I just know. Did that audio come in there? Did it?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. No, my thing came on there for a second.
I'm gonna load this up. Of course, I got to go through stupid commercials. They're stupid until they pay me. That's how I see it. Until they pay the channel, all commercials are stupid.
Yeah, we need to get a sponsor on board. We need to start reaching out to the. I'm thinking maybe Microsoft. Something
Hey,
like
I
that. One
know
of them
it
small
sucks. I was
companies.
thinking of going. I think I was
One
going.
of
I
them
think
small
going
companies.
here, going to Nike.
Yeah, one of them small. We can go up at it. One of them small, up and coming. What do they call
Yeah,
them? Startup
startups.
companies. Yeah,
Yeah,
Nike. They say I've heard of them. They would get
they've
them
done a
on
couple
board.
things here and there. Maybe we can maybe I don't know Jake. I don't know if JK's still in the chat or not. I know he's got company over. So but maybe JK can set us up with a deal with Adidas. That was a good
I've
site.
heard they're a good young company as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
some
they're
interesting new
up and
designs.
coming company. I would
Kid,
love to talk. Oh, Sesko, you got to do better than that. I just saw the
yeah,
same.
you know what I'm saying. That's a once in a lifetime chance right there.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that too is that like there are players that can just slot it home. Obviously, they can, but that's the difference between like those that didn't see R9 play. R9 can either put that ball away with just a kick, or he could do like some crazy foot maneuver, and go around the keeper. He'll
That's
make the
correct.
keeper
Yeah.
look stupid.
This
He'll like,
Sesko kid though, he's young. He's so young. Like I know,
yeah,
but Ronaldo at that age, who's already probably the best player in the world. Which yeah,
yeah,
but I don't blame this Sesko kid. His eyes lit up, and he did try it decently. All but in that instance, I think. And again, who am I to say tell someone like Sesko how to be a striker because I could barely lace his boots. But either do what you say, go around him,
hmm
or to me, I just think lift it. Just lift it. That one where you try and bend it, if you don't get the lift on the bend, you get that finish where you basically curl it into the goalkeeper. So just go on, just lift it over the keeper, just chip it, just Panenka him basically.
yeah,
Honestly, just always lift it. Don't try and bend it.
yeah,
Just get height on it. I know it's like that little wedge shot. That's what takes more nerve. But I just like that. It's got better because he's going to go down. Either that or if you got the balls, yeah, definitely. Just feint and then go around them. And once you've gone around them, you have an open goal. But the ability to do the feint and then go around them is in a high pressure situation is kind of what makes these guys marks out the real guys from the not the real guys. Because yeah, like you said, Ronaldo goes past that goalkeeper twice and then slots it into an empty net. That's not a miss. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah. Mizzy, I do have an answer for you. I'm gonna allow for the first kick to
penalties are
go, and then
starting.
I'll go a little more in depth for you. But
Oh,
okay, you're ahead of me. But
sorry.
No worries. It's it's all good. You can give your reaction. I'm not that big on the spoilers. I see they missed their first pen. Ooh, good save.
That's the worst way to start. That's so.
That's one of those reasons why, like, I used to really love James Milner because James Milner looked to be the first penalty kicker.
No, and like you
always,
say, fair play to that guy for standing up. And he's Ronaldo first up for Portugal. Here we go.
Yeah,
Second penalty tonight.
He has to be.
I won't say anything. I will not say anything.
No worries. Just for Ronaldo, don't tell me. CR7 is always he's always dramatic. Let me see. He's already made one save. Ooh, okay. I think CR7 knew that he was feeling it. He was feeling it. What was the other place that you asked? I think CR7 was definitely feeling it. Lot riding on that. You know what too is pretty crazy is that referees are so stringent on the goalies not moving, which I understand, and it's a new rule that they can't move even on the line anymore. They have to be planted until the kick takes place.
No, you can move across the line.
This might be it. That Portugal might be going through. Diego Costa has just been brilliant.
No, you can move across the line. You don't have to stay planted. You can move across the line as long as you're behind it. You can move across.
I don't. Okay, I'll double
no,
check.
you can't. No, you can't. You can't.
Right,
they can't say you can't move. Yeah, you have to be able to move side to side. As long as you're behind the line, you can do anything you want. But no, they're gonna. This is a horrible 2 penalties missed after all of that going through, and you just miss. That's not right at all. Yeah, they're pretty much done now. They're done.
Holy.
That's
okay, so I do have an answer for you.
I
do have an answer for you, M. Tarmizi. As soon as Bruno is a stone cold. He's pretty stone cold too.
Oh, Oblak didn't even move. He just left him standing there.
He's changed his but he's changed his approach, which is kind of interesting.
Do or die here. Well, look, that's out. Last night was really for the Slovakians against England, to be that close and they get knocked out, and now you get this crap. Oh, that's just horrific. That's really just. That's shocking. I don't know. Well.
Oh goodness, yeah.
That's just.
Yeah.
Oh
okay.
well.
I do
good night,
have an answer
good night,
for
Slovenia.
you. M. Tarmizi. Hopefully you're still with us, M. Tarmizi, because I just gave you an answer. Yeah, this will be the end. This will be put it through. I know that you guys probably have already seen it, but Manchester City's Master Splinter is. I see him lined up, ready to take this.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, it's over. Oh well. Good.
Bit of a.
Yeah, Slovenia, you tried.
It's a horrible way to go.
It is. It's a tough way to go out, but yeah, they both had their chances, man. They both had their chances. One had a surefire breakaway, what you called a goal that he should have gotten. CR7 had a penalty kick that more times than not, we all think that he's going to make that penalty. Tough. It's tough to go out on penalties. It's really tough, but. If I'm Slovenia,
to miss them all is.
Yeah.
You're not even giving yourself a shot. It's.
Yeah.
You can miss. You missing the first one. I think. That's. Yeah, it's rare. Yeah, when you see that happen, like the first penalty in a shootout, and you miss it, that really, really puts you on the back foot immediately, and it puts then. Double the pressure on the next guy. it's I can't remember ever seeing actually a penalty shootout. I'm sure I have, but at this level where all three were missed of the first three, I can't remember ever seeing that. That's
Yeah.
call them like none of them were missed, none of them were blazed over the bar or past the post. They were all saved. They were all good to great saves. They weren't awful penalties. Like skied over the bar, dragged wide. So at least they did hit the target. But to see
Mhm.
three in a row saved, I mean, when's the last time a goalkeeper saved three penalties in a row in a penalty shootout at the Euros?
Yeah. Tyler
I
put it as
wouldn't be
one of the best
surprised.
games. He says one of the best 0-0 games he's seen in a while.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's a well, penalty shootouts are different, but three in a row is. Can't remember. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I think maybe if they scored that first one, maybe it might have been a bit different, but I think they really crumbled. As soon as they missed that,
Mhm.
it was like, oh no. But they did brilliant. Look, to get there, they really did. Not being kind of,
Yeah.
patronized or anything, but 0-0 to stop Portugal over that long. That's a proper team. But everyone's got to go out, I suppose. But Sesko will not be sleeping tonight. Sesko will not sleep tonight. He'll just be sitting there replaying that moment over and over and just going, why didn't I lift it? Why didn't I go around him? Why didn't I do this?
Real quick. M Tarmizi, definitely comment if you are. I'm hopeful that you are still with us. In this.
Why? What was he asking? What was he
He was
asking?
asking if like where I would recommend between the two locations being Fruta, Colorado, or
Oh, he's off to
um,
America, is he?
yeah, for running,
Of course.
and then the other
Obviously,
place
he's
was
going to run across America. Obviously,
California.
Tarmisi.
Yeah,
Yeah, obviously. I'm
we should
just
do.
assuming
Yeah,
he's going to run
and
across
Tarmisi is going
America.
to
He's
be
just wondering where to get coffee on the way or something.
he's going to be in the Forrest Gump sequel, and he'll be running with
Yeah, he's like,
Forrest Gump
yeah. He's
going
not like
across
he's
the
not
country.
stopping or anything. He's just wondering where to get a coffee on the way. He's going to keep
That'd be
running.
dope. It would be
Yeah,
really dope.
2,000 miles. Oh, Tarmisi just ran across the Rockies or something. Just typical stuff.
I was going to suggest if you do. The
Fan.
reason why I was saying the difference between the two is one, for the elevation in California is high. It's 1,227 feet above sea level. It's high. Colorado's
He's up in the
elevation
high
for the
desert,
city,
yeah.
for the town that he's trying to
Oh,
go
there he is.
to,
There he
is
is. Look.
4,508 feet above sea level.
Yeah, look, I told you.
Massive difference.
He's running across New York City. Look, he's in there. He's running across New York. Of course.
Yeah.
Marathon majors. November. I mean, this guy is
Yeah,
Iron
no,
Man
but
or something.
I was going to suggest this to you, Antar Mizzi, and it's a funny note. So I don't know too much about Fruta, which is in Colorado, but I do know that they have a festival there called the Mike the Headless Chicken Festival. Okay, there is a 5K run associated with that festival. Just so you know.
He does 5K for breakfast, man.
Does he? Okay.
He does
Just telling
5K for breakfast.
Just
That's
telling you.
his.
If that maybe makes it a little bit more interesting
You
choice
know
for
those.
you.
You know those people who have like steps for the day, and they're like 3,000 steps. Like Tarmizi's steps for the day is like 10K.
There you go.
I'm telling you, man.
But a
No,
little
but
funny, interesting
I
history.
like the sound of this.
Mike the Headless Chicken Festival.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting festival because apparently, I don't know if it's urban lore or if it's like been actually is actually true or not. But apparently, Mike was a chicken who lived for 18 months after he was decapitated, obviously.
Oh yes, yeah. I've heard about these chickens that without wanting to get gory, that can
They
live
can
on,
live.
say
Live on.
without
Yep.
the. But is he really Mike?
That was his name. Yeah, that was his name. Apparently.
No, but what I'm saying is without his brain, because we're all assuming it's the lower bit that lives on, not
Yeah.
like not the head part. So I'm assuming if it's not
Well,
without the
apparently,
brain,
yeah. Apparently, I
is it
guess it's
really
like
Mike?
it's reported that that's the longest survival of a headless chicken is Mike the
Yeah.
headless chicken, and that's why they have the festival because he's got the longest. I guess
Like, there's no way he lived 18 months. By the way, that's obviously nonsense.
no. I
Probably
mean,
like
Mike the headless chicken in
probably like
April 20th,
18 minutes.
1945,
Something.
lived
Yeah.
till March 17th of 1947.
Oh
He
yeah.
was a male Wyandotte chicken that lived for 18 months after his head had been cut off, surviving because most of his brain stem remained intact and it did not bleed to death due to a blood clot. That's kind of graphic, I understand, but a little scientific.
That's totally definitely true as well, by the way. Don't check it out.
There's a statue of him.
Of course there's a statue of him. It's America, dude. Seriously, come on. Of course there's a statue of him.
Of course, yeah, there you go.
You don't just have a statue, you have a goddamn we've already established that you have a festival.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's some cool
You make a festival for anything.
There are countryside running. Yes, you are right about that, by the way. Yeah, maybe Diego Costa can come and be our backup keeper. That'd be great. After that performance, wouldn't be that bad. Yes, there is a lot that goes on with countryside running. There's those that are I never really got or understood this. Maybe M. Tarmizi could give a little insight, but there's a lot of runners here in America, or not a lot, but there are some runners out here in America that do the trail running, but they do it barefoot, that's bold.
That's
very bold.
That's some religious type stuff,
Yeah, they do a lot of they don't have they just run without the shoes. I don't know what their feet must look like, but I mean, they run without the shoes. That is definitely a pedicurist nightmare, I'm sure. But yeah, so I don't know, M. Tarmizi, whichever state you choose to go with. Obviously, I would suggest Cali is a phenomenal place to not only visit but also live, despite the reports of elsewise. There's other things about California, albeit that are kind of beat to hear about and disappointing to hear about, but California is still an amazing state. So Colorado is definitely an amazing state as well, just so you guys know. But we've made it, people. We made it to the end of the Portugal-Slovenia game. Slovenia has unfortunately been knocked out of this tournament. They gave their best, but their best just wasn't good enough. I'm not going to sing the song, but yes, we've made it all the way through. We're going to definitely in 3 hours. Yeah, actually in exactly 3 hours, I will be back on here, doing my best to hopefully see this be hopefully a good result. But all the same, yeah.
For the world's best parcel delivery company. I mean, sorry, but U.S. men's football team, right?
Yes. Yeah, I know. USPS, that's what the U.S. Postal Service, that's what they call them. Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably heard about USPS because of
Can they deliver tonight though? That's the issue.
Well, yeah. They used to be the sponsor of the Tour de France team that won all those Tour de France's with Lance Armstrong.
Those guys, yeah. UPS, yeah. Don't say nothing about that.
Or not UPS, USPS, because UPS is
USPS, yeah.
Yeah, UPS is United Parcel Service.
They're the brown guys.
They're the Browns.
Yeah.
The USPS is the National Mail Service. Hylor says, imagine that there is just 2.1 million people in Slovenia, and they are this good at football. It's just amazing. On top of that, Oblak is amongst the top 3 goalkeepers in the world. Yes, he is a fantastic goalkeeper. Absolutely.
Yeah, comparison, there's about 5 million in Scotland.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, and about 10, almost close to 10% of them tried to go to the Euros. So
random, Dustin, random. Okay.
Fanboys. There you go. I got you.
Was there a statement? Is that in response to something?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, random. Rainier Winkler.
Rainier,
That's my name
good to
to
meet
me.
you. Good to see you.
Hello.
But yes, that's going to be the end of our Euros Best Buy edition. Not brought to you by Best Buy, but Best Buy, if you are interested, we are open to conversations. But,
we're in negotiations with Apple at the moment, so don't come at us. You
might have to get in line, but
don't lowball us. That's all we're
yes.
saying.
But yes, is there anything you want to say to people before we allow for them to be on their way?
No, Rainier. See you indeed.
Yes, there you go.
See you indeed. See you tomorrow, I suppose. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, to everyone for the usual. Yeah. Thanks for everyone that was here. Thanks for everyone that liked and subscribed and chat as usual. Long show, so thanks for everyone sticking in.
Long show, but the people were asking for it. So
sticking with us. So
yeah, sticking with us, showing love, tuning in. I know it's late in the UK. I know it'll be even later for the or what was that, 2 a.m. I think game? Isn't it 2 o'clock in the morning, I think, or something like that for you guys?
Yeah, hi, Psycho, Michael. Yeah, watch on replay. Go ahead, dude. I don't.
Definitely watch on replay. Please leave a comment. Tell us what you thought we got right, what you thought got wrong, or what you wanted to add to the conversation. We always do an effort to comment back. You know, if you leave a comment, you know, I try to go above and beyond, because I know that so often when I'll see people leave comments on posts and you'll get like a like or like, you know, or a heart emoji or whatever, or something simple, which is just a click. I do my best to try to give, you know, an actual response to your comments. So yeah, if you leave a comment, I'll do my best to make sure that I give a comment back, as always, because I appreciate the fact that you put one down for us. But with that said,
Mark, 12th man is doing one. We're not staying on live, but he'll be back up later on. Mark is just asking no live game for the USA. He is, he's live.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we are live. Well, 12th man is live.
Yes, we'll be live. Again, it's 2 a.m. I just want to confirm it's 2 a.m. right? 6 p.m. my time, so I'd be 2 a.m. I believe your time. I want to say it's 2 p.m.
Yeah.
If anyone out there knows what time, I think it's 2 a.m. I know it's a late game. It's either 1, if not 2 a.m. in the morning. So I understand if you guys aren't up in the UK for the game. But, you know, for all of our friends, maybe in Australia, or maybe you're in the States, or if you're part of, and I know that, you know, that technically UK is in both hemispheres. But if you are in more heavily in this hemisphere, I guess, being in the North America, South America region, give us a try.
Well, we can. We're all in the northern. You're in the eastern. You're in the. Hang on, I'm just checking here. Yeah, it is. It's 2 a.m. UK time, which is cool. If you're in Europe, that'd be 3 a.m. But yeah, so you're Bolivia, Panama. Yeah, so it's 2 a.m. in the UK.
It's a late game. But if you can't sleep, or you want to watch, or you're just up because you just got home from, you know, maybe the night shift or something like that, give it a try. I'll try not to disappoint. I will certainly be animated. I'll be involved. I'll be like, I certainly will be like, you know, committed. So
it'll be interesting to see what happens when Darwin scores the winner against you. Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay, cool.
But again, thank you for joining us again. I hope that your mental health, as well as your physical health, are in excellent form. If it isn't, please do reach out to a professional to try to find some remedy, because it is important that we do so. Look, you mean something to all of us. As a fellow Red especially, you mean the world to us. So I hope that you will not sell yourself short by not taking into mind that you are not alone in this walk. I also wanted to say, if you will join us tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to do another segment. It will be tomorrow's Tuesday. Usually we do Twitter takes, but I will do a show on the Copa. Since we did Europa, or excuse me, since we did Euros, I'll do a Copa, those to watch for us in the Copas. So I'll do that for tomorrow. It's a little bit less of a lengthy list, probably about 10 to 15 players, but still some very notable players to keep your eye on. And until either the Copa game against USA and Uruguay, if I don't see you then, I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. And I wish you all the best. And as always, up the Reds, people, up the Reds. Okay, see you shortly.